Aloha kakahiaka all, and welcome to this very special day here in Kaihitu. All these paddlers have gathered for the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoes Race. The electricity is in the air. It is a gorgeous day here in Kaihitu, and we are just getting pumped up for a good, fun day of canoe paddling between here in Kailua and Honaunau. It is... I can't tell you how excited we are to be here for the 50th annual. What a historic moment. My name is Kala'i Miller. I'm here with Katie Stevens, and we are just excited to be here. What a day. And, man, those girls, they are just pumped to race right now, Katie.
They are so excited. Everybody's out on the line just waiting for the start, eagerly trying to stay in position and looking down the race course at what's ahead for them. And, it looks like it's going to be another amazing race. Record numbers here today, more than they've ever had at this race. I heard on the starting line out there is more than 200 canoes.
Wow, those are great numbers. And the thing about those numbers is they're coming from not only here in the Hawaiian Islands, but across the nation, across the globe. We have fantastic international participation here at this race, and it really seems that everyone's kind of come here to celebrate the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoes Race. And we have canoes from all across the globe: New Zealand, Singapore. Where else, Katie?
Australia, Tahiti, Canada, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, United Kingdom, and, of course, all of the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, all the Hawaiian Islands.
The rest of the mainland United States. People are here from all over the world to celebrate this.
Well, thank you so much for getting up early this morning and joining us on the Ocean Paddler Facebook page, as well as the Queen Lili'uokalani Race Facebook page. We're going to have live coverage here for this the two parts of this race that are happening today on Saturday. The Queen Lili'uokalani Canoes Races Festival actually takes place over 5 days, depending on how you count it. But all the way from this past Thursday, there were events for paddlers that are coming in from out of town to participate in. There's events tomorrow. They had a talk story yesterday with the crew of the Voyaging Canoe Makali'i. And so really, this is more than just a canoe race. It's truly a festival. And today is a great day to celebrate. So we're going to be live here, taking care of the two parts of this race. And Katie, share with our viewers, those who woke up early enough to join us this morning, let them know what are the two parts of our race today.
So we have two races today, and on the line this morning are all of the women's crews and also
we have some mixed
crews, the 60s and 50s
Yep.
mixed crews, and there is also different divisions within that. So there's unlimited canoes, there's the glass canoes, there's people doing iron, there's people doing 9-person with water changes, so all kinds of things happening out there at one time. And then after those crews finish down at Honaunau, then coming back will be the men's divisions and the open and 40s mixed crews.
So what's neat to notice, I'm glad you mentioned it, Katie, is that there are several races within each race, right? So you may see 100-plus canoes lined up at the starting line, but realize as well that there are several different divisions within there. There are age groups. There are those 18 and under, our keiki, our nakama divisions, and then we also have our kupuna divisions. I got scoldings last time. I got scoldings at the last race for saying the kupuna divisions was 50 and up, and one of my sister's friends called her up and said, "Tell your brother I'm not a kupuna."
Not yet.
our older divisions, should we say,
our age group
are
divisions.
More experienced.
Yes.
Yeah, and then of course we have different types of canoes. All of them are 6-man today. We have some regular standard fiberglass Hawaiian design canoes. They're about 400 pounds, about 45 feet long. Then we have 6-man unlimited canoes, which have no restrictions on their design. Just
or weight.
Build them as fast as you want to go, right? Design and weight. We also have a very special division, especially for here on the Big Island of Hawaii, is our koa canoe division. A lot of the wood for these canoes comes from this island, is very hard to come by nowadays because of the historic overharvesting of this precious wood. But these koa canoes are here on the water, and there's nothing like being there live on a koa canoe, feeling it in the water. It's just something special about it. So we have all those different divisions, and then some of them within those divisions have people that are racing what we call iron. Those 6 people complete this 18-mile course by themselves, whether you can make it or not. You got the same 6. And then some are racing what we call 9-man. 9-man, you have an escort boat that follows you with 3 other people on your crew, and you can make water changes all the way. And we'll be explaining that and going into that later on. But yeah, there's a lot of races within the race. So, somebody may be kind of in the middle or a little bit far back from the lead, and you see them, well, why are they still working so goddamn hard, right?
Race within the race.
Yes, because they're trying to take a ribbon or a medal in their own division. Yeah, so that's going to be fun out there today, and I really think that lends a lot to the competitive spirit. And, regardless of division or type of canoe or whatever, we all plenty aloha for each other on the beach, right? Plenty aloha for each other before we leave the shore. But man, if you're in the water in a race, you don't care what division they're in. The canoe next to you, there's a race going on. So
there's a race going on.
That's always super fun. So
they say there's 2 boats, it becomes a race.
Yeah, more than one boat always becomes a race. So that's good. That's the competitive spirit, part of what gets people out here to participate year after year in outrigger canoe paddling. And so it's not only the joy of the exertion and being out in these beautiful elements, which, by the way, Katie, once again, Kailua Kona does not disappoint.
It does not.
But it is a competitive spirit. So, again, thank you for joining us. We'll be here all day. Our live coverage will last well past lunchtime while we cover these 2 18-mile races. And just to say that we really bear with us. There may be times where we are losing our connectivity, but we are here live. Our whole studio exists on this boat that we're sitting on right now. We have a Starlink beaming up internet service for us, connectivity. We have multiple cameras. We're flying a drone off the back of this boat. So really, our whole production studio has been built around the console of this vessel here, and we're trying to beam it live to you as we go along. Yep. Okay. So, again, Katie, what are we going to expect as far as conditions this morning for our wahine paddlers?
Conditions look, well, I want to say typical, but there's actually quite a bit of subtlety to this course. Right now, we're seeing a little bit of wind chop on the water. I think the women are going to have a little bit of a headwind, which in some ways it makes it a little bit harder, but it also makes it a little bit cooler. So the breeze blowing in your face kind of cools you down. So that provides a benefit. There's going to be probably some tidal change currents out here. So I think the locals have a little bit of advantage in kind of knowing, okay, if the tide is doing this, I need to hug the coast more. If the tide's doing that, I want to be more outside.
We've seen in the past how impactful that can be.
It really can. But right now it's relatively calm with just a slight bit of wind chop, and there's a little bit of swell here. There's a southwest swell kind of picking up. It's supposed to peak later in the week, I think on Tuesday, but we can already feel a little bit of that here. So
yes.
There's the ocean is moving here. It's not just a flat and calm like we always sort of think of this coastline.
Yeah. There's a lot of little things that hopefully our crews will be able to feel here and there. But they're really we have what you're being able to see through our drone footage. There is that all our canoes are getting ready on the line, and man, it is a long starting line. It has to be with this many canoes. We have our jet skis patrolling back and forth, trying to get these canoes to hold the line so that we have a fair start. And there's a lot of electricity in the air. Even this morning, Katie, excuse me, we're going to have multiple starts. They're going to have the open divisions and then the unlimited divisions after, kind of planning it so that everybody finishes about the same time because, some of our more e kalamai kupuna crews, they're going to take a little bit longer to get 18 miles down the coastline. And as opposed to some of our top wahine crews, they're going to be there pretty darn quick.
That's right.
Yeah.
I believe that the 9-person crews are going to start 10 minutes. So there's the start with all the glass canoes. 5 minutes later, there's the unlimited canoes, and then 5 minutes after that is the 9-person canoes. That helps to keep the escort boats from the crews that are doing water changes to not affect the start of the other paddlers here, which is actually quite nice because those escort boat wakes can really give you some waves and things that you want to try to avoid. So, yeah, this is just amazing here looking at all these canoes and these jet skis, just trying to keep everybody, give them a fair start behind the line. The line actually looks fairly well spread out. The people aren't bunched up too much. That sometimes is a little bit daunting here when canoes start getting shoved together and you're just trying to untangle your ama and make sure that you don't get hung up with other canoes. But people seem to have a decent amount of space between them here, which is great to see. I think we'll have a good start.
Yeah, there's a pretty, I don't know, I kind of felt it walking around the dock this morning there at Kaihitu. And as usually is the case with a women's race, there's usually a pretty cool vibe. You know, everybody's happy to be there. There's plenty of aloha. The women are just kind of excited. You know, they're not as intense, maybe is a word, as the male crews get. And
I think they're just better at hiding it, Kalai.
I think they're good. I think they're better at mixing in the fun into that intensity.
Yes.
You know, and there's definitely a whole sisterhood thing going on in the canoe that is more readily expressed with the women's crews. So I always like it. The only part that's hard about a women's race is that, man, the porta potties, they always have a line. As opposed to the men's, it's, you know, always the line is short pretty much.
Yeah, or the line is off in the bushes.
Yeah. The line is off to the side. So,
yeah.
But yeah, in just another minute or so, we'll have this race starting off. It seems like they're holding the line pretty well here. But again, I definitely think not only the texture on the water, we'll call it, will be something that the better crews will be able to use. But heat has to be playing a factor today. You've done this race, as have I. Katie, when you come out to a place like Kaihitu to race, it is the hot side of this island. You know, you got to be thinking about stuff like hydration, sun exposure, especially when you're racing on an iron crew where you're not going to be able to change out of it or get on the escort boat and put on that cold, wet towel and, you know, drink your Gatorade or whatever it might be. The heat can be a game changer for crews.
It can be a huge factor in this race, and you really needed to be thinking about hydration for several days. You needed to be getting hydrated, not just this morning. Of course, you also need to make sure your hydration system in your canoe is going to be functioning for you. You don't want to suddenly lose it and spill it out. Oh, look, here goes.
Yeah, here they go. The canoes are moving.
Looks
like we've had a clean start here. All of our wahine paddlers are making their way down the coast now. Wow, this is as big a start for a women's race as I have ever seen. There are a lot. Do we have the final count for the total number of women's crews that signed up for today?
Last I heard, this start here has over 200 crews.
Wow.
I think that's combining in the mixed crews, but that is the biggest ever at this race. It could be the biggest ever at a canoe race.
That is
amazing.
Incredible. And you know, the 18 miles of this course and the variability of different age groups and crews and 9 and 6 that you can race really makes this kind of a friendly race for a lot of crews. It's not like you're going to be paddling 40 plus miles and have to ship your canoe to the middle of nowhere to start. You know, this race is very competitor friendly, I think, in that aspect, where in particular for those crews that are coming from far, there's a lot of opportunity for them for this to be not such a drag on logistics, you know.
That's true. And I think the clubs here on the Big Island really make an effort to
Yes.
share their canoes with people that are coming from far away and have a hard time to try to get a canoe here. There's a lot of canoes that are shipped here from the other Hawaiian Islands, and everybody really works together. I know that Kaupua Canoe Club really makes a huge effort to try to help out with getting the canoes down here to the pier where people can rig them. And there's a lot going on here, but you're right. It's very friendly, and people really trying to help each other out to find crews. There's individuals that want to race, didn't have a crew or club,
just
and show up
in.
and put their name up on the board and just jump in with somebody else. And so
Cool.
people are here making new friends that they're paddling with. People are
Cool.
getting on different teams. It's a lot of camaraderie.
Well, we just had our start. They're about a couple minutes in. Very shortly, we'll be able to see the top crews begin to assert their positions. You know, a strong crew will be an experienced crew. They'll know how to get a good start. They'll know how to settle in quickly. Their steerswoman will be able to find the texture on the water to help propel them quicker than some other crews. And so they're already, you're going to see, it's amazing to see a start line of 200. But even this quickly into it, within 5 minutes, these girls are going to be able to kind of set themselves up for a lead. You usually see the top crews, men or women, they're up front walking away early, and it just doesn't stop the whole time, and so that's going to be pretty exciting. And we'll see, though, will these spec canoes, some of them be chased down by the Unlimiteds that are going to be starting 5 minutes later, because that was kind of fun to watch last year for us.
Yes, it was.
Watching the Unlimited crews try to hunt down the leaders in the initial foray of canoes. So, Katie, let's talk about some of the canoes or teams that we think are going to be looking good today. We're looking for good performances out of some of these teams. I know you were thankfully on the dockside yesterday on the wharf doing a little bit of research and talking to different paddlers and doing your homework. So who are we kind of looking at? I'm gonna throw one out right off the top. What about Kaihitu? From right here on the Big Island. That bunch of ladies, has been together for a while. They've paddled under, different clubs, but their core group has been together for a while. I understand they are fairly self-sufficient. They don't get a lot of outside help or coaching, and they're just a bunch of hardcore assassins, pretty much.
Right? And they have local knowledge here of this
Yes.
course. They come down and they practice in this area, and that really can be quite helpful, because some people feel like, oh, this is flat water and there's just, nothing to it here. But there's really a lot of subtleties of where you're going far away from the shore, in close to shore, or just managing the smaller swells and trying to make the water help you to be faster, and then just being comfortable with the course. If you're going to be doing a big race, a lot of people will try to go down, and whether it's running or paddling or whatever it is, and do the course at least a few times and kind of get comfortable with knowing what's coming up next. They're looking ahead of you and saying, okay, I know the finish is past that point of land, or I know this point of land is halfway there. So your mind is a little bit more settled into knowing what's going to happen. So local knowledge in a course like this is actually a really big deal. Yeah. And so that's why often, if you're not from here, you've never done this course, one of the best things to do is to find a local crew, watch them, and figure out what they look like, and watch where they're going.
Yeah, follow them. Follow the leader and wait to the last moment to make your move. But I really think this Kaihitu crew is strong. They have been finishing top 5 in a lot of races for a couple of years now, maybe a few years and up. They do really well at Catalina a couple years ago. They did great here last year. I believe they're racing Unlimited in a Matahina. We'll talk about canoes later on, but I think we have a good chance of seeing a great performance out of them. Who else we got for our women's cruise that you are looking forward to see today?
Yeah, it's interesting. This race, there often is a big mix of people who are coming here with their canoe club, trying to represent as best they can with their best crews. But it's also an opportunity, because you don't have to be affiliated with a certain club to do this race. This is a race where people pull together some fun crews, and so people who are friends or who have paddled together and know each other's strengths and weaknesses will get together and form a crew. And that often, unless they've practiced together and sort of proved to each other what's their best lineup of where people sit and everything, sometimes it's a little bit of an unknown. It could be a crew of great paddlers, but they weren't able to sort of set themselves up as the best they could, or in the best manner, and so maybe they're not as fast as they thought they might be, or it works wonderfully and they're great. So there's a little bit of unknown sometimes when you start pulling together fun crews like that. Of course, you're paddling with people that you know and love, and so it's always fun to be out there with them. But this does make it sometimes, when you're trying to guess who's going to be up at the front, a real unknown. There are some crews out there. There's the Aloha Unlimited crew that's a women's 40s crew, but I'm looking at the paddlers in here. It's got a couple girls from from Lani Kai, like Alani Hall and Enola Borges. It's got Charisse Kili, Kristen Dross, Dean Ward. These are all very strong women.
There's some names I recognize in there. Former Team Bradley. There's some world champions in there, and 40. They say this whole thing about 40 is the new 30. So I don't know. It's interesting that one thing I do know is that these as paddlers, male or female, are getting older. Man, just the training and the nutrition, everything has improved over the decades. And man, we have some real top crews that are still, in their 40s, being able to compete with the younger crews. And so we're giving you a quick pass by of the open start here, and we're going to be making our way back to the second start.
Which will be the unlimited
cruise.
Yes. And so some crews have opted to put their better crews into the spec boats, and some crews have opted to go into the unlimited route. So again, last year we were watching some of the unlimited boats trying to catch up to the spec boats that had that 5-minute start on them. So it kind of became another race within a race, even though these boats were in different divisions. Everybody wants to be first across that line, no matter what kind of boat they're in.
But I think, too, much like regatta racing, if you're coming here representing a club and you have some real numbers and depth in your canoe club, you'll try to see how well you can do in several different divisions. You'll try to stack certain crews, hey, if I got 3 50s that are good, maybe I'll drop them down with my 3 best 40s and try to win the 40s division or something like that, something along those lines. Or, hey, maybe I'll take my 3 best gals and my 3 best men and I'll race a mixed crew, something like that. But, everybody wants to race. Everybody's having fun, but it's nice to take home a medal,
It is, and it was great yesterday walking around and talking with people and asking people what division they were in. There was so many crews where there's a really big age span in the people that are in each crew. There's one crew of men that I talked to. They have a paddler who's 32 and a paddler who's 65, and the rest are all somewhere in between. So, we could have gone in the 60 divisions, except we have a couple guys who are 50. Oh, but then we have a guy who's 40. Oh, a guy who's 30. So there's some crews out here with big age bands, a different amount of experience, and it's great to have this opportunity to pull these people together.
And now looking at ourselves on the screen, you can tell the sun is shining out here today. we are getting the bright lights on, man. You can tell it is a sunny day, and you're going to be thinking about those paddlers and how they're dealing with that extra set of elements as well. But we just had, I think, if I'm looking back here, we had our start of our second division in this morning's race. Yep. Okay. Yep. So right now what you're seeing on your screen is the start of the second heat for this women's race this morning. And these canoes will be trying to catch up with everybody in front of them. These are the 9.
The unlimited. It should be the unlimited division.
This is 9, I think. Are you seeing? I'm seeing spec boats.
Oh,
my eyes ain't the best, girl, but I think these
and
are
your eyes are younger than mine.
Yeah.
So.
But we I believe
these
are.
Yes. So this is the 9-person cruise.
This is. I think everybody they sent on this one. So this is the 9s, and the one that was right before this was the spec. Yep. So this is the third start this morning.
Yes.
They're really quick. They don't. It's not like there's a huge amount of
5 minutes between.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of time between them. The kind of time that can be made up pretty quickly. But you're going to notice these 9-man crews, they started them last so that the escort boats and the wake of the escort boats aren't messing up with the other canoes so much and giving a lot of the other crews just a chance to get out there and kind of spread out and make some room.
And that used to be, I think people felt like the 9-person crew should be faster. You're getting in, you're kind of doing a little bit more of a sprint. I mean, you're probably in there for maybe 30 minutes and you get out and you get a rest. So in theory, you should be able to paddle a little bit harder because you're getting these periods of rest. But the water changes make a difference and sometimes slow people down a little bit. And so, and I think people are getting better and better at doing these iron races, and
yeah.
I don't know now if a 9-person crew is necessarily assumed to be faster than the iron races.
I would argue there's a point of diminishing returns.
Yes.
I think the shorter the race is, the more it favors the iron. But maybe, depending on the fitness of your crew, this is the kind of race where you start to get into those later miles, maybe 15 miles plus. It's where having those 3 fresh paddlers coming in all the time is really starting to make a difference.
Yeah.
Once you have the same 6 paddling maybe over 15 plus miles, they're going to start to slow down. And it also has a lot to do with your stroke count.
Yes.
If you have a slower, smoother stroke, depending on how you're doing it, it's going to be something you can sustain for a greater distance. For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think last year we were noticing in the men's race some very large differences in the stroke rate and some of the crews who were up in the front. And it was very interesting to watch because they were essentially moving about the same speed, but their stroke rate and stroke count was very different. And I think the Wailea men had a much shorter, faster stroke rate than several of the crews that were near them, and so trying to figure out what's the best for your crew, depending on probably the size of your paddlers, maybe your endurance level, strength, trying to figure out what works best for your crew is definitely a process. And so for some crews that it works better for them to paddle a little bit slower, do a little bit longer stroke, a little bit more strength into it, and other paddlers that a little bit faster, shorter stroke, not so hard on you every time, but you're taking more strokes.
Right. We're getting great drone footage right now of our canoes starting to come together. This is just off the start. We're probably about, I would say, coming up on 20 minutes into the race for that initial start, and you can already see some of these unlimited boats making their way. I would say typically, an unlimited boat like this is lighter. It does well in this kind of mellow water. When you get into where there's more surf and stuff, I think sometimes the weight of the spec boat helps make it a little bit easier to handle.
Yeah.
Maybe, especially if you have the power to do so, like maybe a men's crew. But I would also think that, per person, a women's crew is not going to be as strong as a men's crew, right? And so if you're trying to propel a 400-pound boat through the water versus a 250-pound boat through the water.
Or some of them now are 150 pounds.
Right.
Some of these canoes are so light
It's
now.
going to be a game changer,
Yes.
And there's a sweet spot, Sometimes too light of a canoe is not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. So we're again about 20 minutes into the start. A lot of these crews are just kind of settling in here. They're trying to find their way. This is going to be the most congested part of their race, except for where they're coming into the finish line, right? So they're trying to kind of space themselves out, keep those the crews with the escort boats behind them, hopefully. But yeah, they're really settling in, and now is where that steerswoman is starting to think course, right, Katie? Have you steered this race before?
I've steered this race before. Yes.
When you're steering a race like this, when you're kind of in the beginning, where's your head at? Where's your head at, like as far as in your own boat, feeling your paddlers, and where's your head at as far as like out there? I'm the steerswoman. I got to think about where I'm taking us.
So it starts from even when you get on the line, and have you chosen a good position on the line? Do you like where you are? Were you thinking about doing an outside course, so therefore you lined up on the outside, or maybe you tried to line up next to your competition, or maybe you decided to identify a local crew and say, hey, I'm going to see what these guys are doing and make sure I can see where the local crews are going. So that's even the beginning of it. Some of our people are watching online. We guys want to give you a shout out for everybody that's watching us from wherever you are in the world. And this is about 18 miles, this race. Of course, I think that was recorded before they had a GPS, but that's what we've always said, that this race is 18 miles.
And you know what? These canoes are not racing a straight line.
That's true.
You might hug the coastline. You might be going back and forth as you go. So, 18 miles roughly.
Yes.
Point to point is 18
exactly.
miles.
So when you're out there, once the start sort of clears and your canoe has got enough space around you and you're paddling, you start looking around at the canoes around you and thinking, is this somebody who's going to stick with us? Is this some of our competition in the race? And start watching whether they're going in or whether they're going out, trying to look at, if I want to start going inside, and this canoe looks like they're going to start wanting to push out, suddenly sometimes you get a little bit of interference there. You're trying to go in, they're trying to go out. And so you have to work your way into the position where you want your canoe to be along this coastline, whether you're close in and close out. And then you start looking at your crew, filling the canoe, filling the water, trying to reassess. Do you want to make any changes to what you assumed initially about staying in or just going further out? Kind of looking at the water, trying to look at how other canoes around you are moving. So suddenly if you are looking at the canoes that are further inside and it feels like as a group they're starting to move ahead and move faster, maybe there's a better current in there. Maybe you want to make some adjustments to your course. So you're thinking small in what's right around you, and then you're also thinking big and looking out at the other canoes and the course and trying to make larger adjustments at the same time as you're making smaller adjustments.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot going on in a steersman's head, constantly recalculating everything, and it's not something you want to do consciously. You want to just feel. You want to just feel your crew, feel the ocean, feel how the canoe is performing. But I feel great today at the fact that we're looking on our little iPhone here, and we have all these people that have tuned in on our Facebook page or the Queen Lili'uokalani Facebook page and are watching today's race. And we at Ocean Paddler want to continue to make outrigger canoe paddling a spectator sport. And man, it is great to see that you folks are tuning in and joining us for this, and we're just so stoked to be able to bring it to you. I have folks here that are watching from Molokai. I got my friend Kikoa Bruin is watching with us. He's a guy that I paddled with when we were young boys. Still a great paddler from Lanikai Canoe Club. Kikoa Bruin is there. What's up, gang? And we have people watching us from Vancouver, Canada, all over the world. And so we have Tanya Powell from Washington State. And so just having this platform of the social media to be able to bring this event to you across the world is pretty darn fun. We're honored to be here, and just thank you for joining in. Continue, please, to send shout-outs to your team. Ask questions if you want them. We're going to do our best to get to these as we're talking through some of this coverage here, but we're doing our best to bring. And so what you're seeing right here, this black unlimited canoe is right next to our escort boat. And these girls are having fun, talking story with us. Good fun event, and this is where it really gets out there. We got Kilgore Trout from Boston. We got Kaz Simpson from Australia. Sharon Hawk from Aotearoa, New Zealand. So, man, we are getting some great international and right here in Hawaii. Oh, Joanne Woodall saying they're thrilled that Ocean Paddler is covering the race. Well, Joanne, we're thrilled that you're joining us this morning. Thank you for making time. And, hey, this race is going to be a few hours. So this is the kind of thing, you put your headset on, you're going about doing your chores at home, maybe you're going for a workout, whatever. Take us with you for the next few hours. Keep your tabs on what's happening out here, checking in here and there, and we'll be able to bring you the play-by-play throughout the day, okay? So, I don't know, just come up with this stupid stuff. But one day I'm going to have Koa Bruin up here. That brother likes to talk stories. So
I bet he's got a lot to say.
One of these days.
Yeah.
So it's good. The water, let's see. As we look out here, it doesn't seem to be particularly flowing. The water, to me, Katie, looks a little sticky. What do you think?
It does, and it looks like the wind chop actually dropped down a little bit from the start. It was a little bouncier. Just, a few miles, maybe we've gone a couple miles now. down the coastline. It looks like there is still some chop on the surface. We can definitely see the southwest swell starting to pick up. So there's some rollers coming through that are going to be coming from their right side, basically perpendicular to their direction. So crews that can kind of quarter on that and kind of run down the swell, the front of it, kind of run down the back. That will help you a little bit, rather than distracting you with all this stuff coming from the side. But you're right, it does look a little bit sticky. There is a little bit of a headwind, slight headwind here, which again helps it to feel a little bit cooler. But yep, okay. So we've got another crew here. This is 268.
All right, hang with us on this. We know everybody out there logging on and watching is so excited about seeing their own friends and family out here, some of them for the first time racing this event. And we also have our hardcore paddlers that are just here to watch everybody and check in with some of the top crews. But all these canoes have numbers, and we're going to do our best to bring you information about each crew.
Right here, you're looking at Lokahi Canoe Club. They're from Oahu. They paddle, right. At least their canoe club is on the Alawai. I've paddled to this canoe club before, and we always tried to go all the way down the Alawai and get out to the ocean and paddle out there. So this looks like a great group of ladies here. They are an open crew, so they could be any age.
Yep. Looks like they got some mixed ages in there. But this Lokahi crew is a great huiva'a long-standing crew there. They, like you said, they practice right out of Alawai. In fact, nowadays I think they have canoes out of Ala Moana Beach Park right there. Nice. They launch right at the ramp. So this is another long-time local crew that's out here enjoying this race. And these girls are looking really strong this morning, looking steady. Look like they're ready for 18 miles. And it's cool to see them in Unlimited.
Good job, Lokahi.
So I'm seeing two numbers on each canoe. What does that mean? So the front number is the women's?
The front number is the women, and then the number on the back will be for the men's crew that will be bringing the canoe back from Honau now, back to Kailuokona.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to be doing our best to bring you, your crew names and numbers and get our video on. We can't really tell always who it is that we're coming up to until we get to the front of the pack. And like I said, already we have some of our top crews distancing themselves from the rest of the pack
and
much as a half mile already.
Yeah, we also see now some of the unlimited canoes, which started 5 minutes after the spec boats. They're starting to move their way up into the pack. And right now you're looking at sort of another mix of canoes. And in here you'll have already the mix of spec boats, the unlimited canoes, and the koa canoes. So here comes the race within the race.
Yeah, here we go. We're trying to get on our own escort boat. We're trying to move up and make our way through the pack. But, yeah, here's the race within the race. And really, just so that for your own knowledge, we have a couple of cameras on this boat that we're on now, including the one for us. We also have our big man, Josh Trotter, over here filming canoes as they come next to us. But we have another escort boat as well. They're going to be making their way through the pack and bringing us some footage. I believe that's what you're seeing on your screen right now. That's our second escort boat. And then we also have our drone up and flying off of this main boat. So really, this is a four camera shoot from the middle of the ocean. It's like conducting a small orchestra, but we're doing our best to bring it to you live, and hopefully you're going to be enjoying the rest of the day with us.
Yeah, everybody keep joining in with us as we progress through this race. We're going to be trying to covering all different parts of this race. We'll be going up to the front and seeing who's up there and try to keep you guys informed on what's happening. But then we'll be coming back through the pack because right now the leaders of the second heat are somewhere in the mix with other parts of the first heat, and same with the third heat that started, the 9-man. So we'll be looking at these canoes and trying to dissect which divisions they're in, and as much as we can, trying to figure out where these crews are from. People are borrowing canoes from other clubs, and so it's not always that easy to identify people by their jersey color or the canoes they're using. And again, people have mixed up crews, and sometimes they're all wearing different shirts from their different clubs, and so there's a big mix of people out here that not as easy to identify as races where people are in their club canoe, in their crew colors.
It is not. And we're doing our best, and we know it's frustrating for you. You're like, who is that? I want to see my friends. And it's frustrating for us as well. But we're gonna do our best for you out there, folks. We're going to do our best. So we're slowly making our way up. We have, we're seeing the unlimited crews start to make their way into the back part of the initial start pack. And yeah, it's exciting. It's a beautiful day. Our paddlers start maybe as close as a quarter mile offshore, and they extend probably an easy half mile to more offshore from that. So maybe our farthest offshore crews are maybe about a mile, and then our closest in are as much as a quarter of a mile. And so, FYI, as Katie had mentioned earlier, some of this will have an effect. The currents run differently at different depths along the coastline here, especially in Kona, partially because we go from deep water to shallow water so quickly. You can have several hundred feet of water just a mile offshore, and you can be within 50 feet, a couple hundred yards offshore. And so the currents are going to affect the canoes differently. And the last thing a steersman wants to do is put their canoe into like a headwind or a head current, right? If they can manage it. And so this is where we call it the LK. The local knowledge comes in, and as Katie said, if you don't got the local knowledge, you kind of try to figure out who's got the local. It's like being at Makaha. You go watch where Russ Keolana sits to catch a wave. You want to sit by him, right? You want to be in the right spot.
He's been there and done that so many times before, and probably learned lessons about places not to be.
Yeah.
So if you can't learn from your own experience of doing it, at least try to learn from somebody else's experience.
Mimicry is the best is the best compliment, right? So somebody trying to copy you means you must be doing something right. So we have I don't know, is that Kaihitu out there? I'm trying to figure out where some of our top crews are and kind of Okay, trying to see what crew that is. Do we have anybody with a number off of that canoe? Yeah, we're trying to get some info about what crew you're seeing on there, but that's what we were talking about, a spec boat. It's 45 feet long, roughly 400 pounds.
Right, and so we are watching this big span of, as Kalai was talking about, some people who are way out offshore, and we're with the crew. We are just inside of the most outside boats. We're looking at Puna Canoe Club right now.
This is these ladies in the pink jerseys here with the green tiger canoe, made right here on the Big Island of Hawaii. A lot of this crew and this canoe come from Big Island of Hawaii. That's Puna Canoe Club. They're centered out of the Hilo area, and so these ladies are looking good. It's another hard to tell what kind of age that is, but we don't.
So even though the Puna Canoe Club, so they are a local crew in terms of being from this island, but they're from kind of the other side of Big Island, and on the Big Island, that's actually quite a distance. So I'm sure they get some opportunity to come over and train over here in these waters, but they're not exactly a local crew.
And we'll let them come up a little closer to us here, but these ladies are actually moving pretty nicely. I don't know if they're trying to surf the escort boat wake, but they're moving pretty nicely. They have a nice smooth stroke coming in. They're a nice big reach. They're not really rushed on their stroke.
They look very comfortable.
Yeah, they look smooth. They look together. And I think if you notice really too, all of their paddles are the same paddle, and that can help out as well. Also, their motion and their reach is very coordinated. They have obviously paddled together for quite a while, these ladies, and they're looking really smooth. I'm liking this crew, and it's evidenced by the fact that they just crept up on those two crews behind them and are starting to walk away. Yeah. So Kim Kimmy's back there. She's steering this Puna Canoe Club. And what a shot right there with the glistening on the water of the sun rays. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah, these ladies look great. Again, we're kind of a little bit more on the outside group of people in terms of distance from the coastline. So they've opted to take this line, probably did some research about the tides and the currents and what was likely to be a good course. So always good to look for the Big Island crews and what they've decided to do it here.
What I really like about them, Katie, is not only, I mean, if you're not a paddler and you're watching this sort of thing for one of your first times, I think it's like having a V6 engine. If one of the cylinders is off or not, or the timing is off in the engine, it's going to sound like crap and it's going to drive like crap, right? But, man, once everything is tuned up, you can get the most out of every ounce of power that engine has. And it's the same thing with canoe paddling. What I like here is not only is there unison, that they are really together on this, but that stroke doesn't look particularly rushed. And when you're even in an unlimited, which is a little bit lighter boat, but you've got another 16 miles, let's say, or 15 miles to go, you want smooth. That's what's going to get you there. Like we talked about earlier, the diminishing marginal returns on a 9-man versus 6-man. So good luck to these Puna ladies. They look like they're going to do good. But I think we're going to switch out right now to another drone shot to give our viewers an idea of what the bigger picture looks like out here. You can kind of see us. We're just to the right off screen of you, just to give you an idea of where we are in the race. Drone kind of right above us. But, yeah, that Puna crew looks really good. We're continuing to come up on some mixed crews here. Got a couple of mixed crews just offshore of us. And we're going to slowly try to make our way up to the top crews and see how they are faring. But, again, a beautiful day of racing here out in Kaihitu. Yep. And, again, mahalo for joining us for this live coverage of the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoe Races here in Kaihitu. We're racing down to Honau now, which is a historical from ancient Hawaiian times, a place of refuge. So these ladies are looking to seek refuge after this long race in Honau now, and then everybody will race back with the men a little bit later in the day. But what a beautiful day for racing out here. There's going to be several points more that we have to cover here as we go down this Kona coast, but we're going to get an idea for you geographically just whereabouts our top crews are. Making good time. Okay. It seems like it's a little smoother, like the water is not so sticky.
It has smoothed out.
Like they broke out of it.
Yeah, I think that there's that sort of wind chop on the surface they had back at the start is kind of gone. It's hard to tell if the wind died because we're moving forward in this motorboat. I wouldn't say that there's no wind, but there's still some surface action, but it does look smoother. You guys watching online, keep giving shout-outs to your team. Let us know where you're watching from. We know you guys are watching from all over the world, and we're watching crews from all over the world paddling here. It's just amazing, the international participation here. And I was talking yesterday with teams from Taiwan, from Japan, just from London. There's a team from London that they practice on the River Thames, the famous river. He said they do get out and get to the ocean sometimes, awesome. But most of it is on that world-famous river.
Canoe paddling is pretty infectious no matter where you're from. It's something you could definitely jump into and be a part of. So we're happy to have these crews from all over the world, and it's neat in my mind that everybody kind of came out to celebrate the 50th.
Yes.
We were sad earlier within the last couple of weeks to find out that both Molokai Ihoi and Nawini'o were canceled for this year. So what have been the long-standing world championships of outrigger, 6-man outrigger distance canoe paddling, this is the men's and the women's. The course was from the island of Molokai to Oahu, roughly 41 miles from Haleolona to Waikiki, and due to what's happened in Lahaina, they were required to cancel those races. So in a lot of ways, this has made Queen Lili'uokalani the race to be at this year, because this now really kind of becomes the World Championships in a lot of ways. So for this year, at least. But right now, we are looking at a crew. Do we know what number that is? We could get some assistance in the studio identifying these crews. That'd be great. Yep. Okay. Yeah, a nice crew.
pretty sure that, that's team 186. And if that's correct, that would be Kailua Outrigger Canoe Club, open women's crew. Oh, and now there they are again. Yeah, these ladies are looking good, and they are, up in the sort of top pack here.
All right, we got another crew right here next to our escort boat. Getting a good shot of them is our ace cameraman, Josh Trotter, right here.
Wow, that is a beautiful unlimited
in an unlimited
yes.
canoe. They're looking smooth as well. A little bit more of a rapid stroke count, which matters a lot, especially in an iron race like this. A little more rapid than the last unlimited crew that we were looking at. And these girls have picked a great jersey color. I'm loving it. I'm loving the pink. Okay. We were able to shout out to them. The reason being that the numbers, the ID numbers, are on the AMA side of this canoe. So these ladies were able to give us a shout out and let us know that they are from Kihei Canoe Club on the island of Maui. So great to see these ladies over here kicking it, and they're doing pretty good. They are certainly climbing up the pack, up towards the front.
They look to me to be one of the top runners in the unlimited crew, because most of the canoes I see around here are mostly still the spec boats.
And
there may be
remember,
one or two other unlimited canoes perhaps, but these ladies are doing awesome.
If I remember correctly, Katie, Kihei had a really strong showing at the state regatta championships just a couple of weeks back here on the other side of the Big Island in Hilo, which was a fantastic venue, by the way, for that regatta-style racing. Big beach, plenty parking, plenty area for all the food and vendor tents, lots of room for all of the clubs, and a great beach to spectate from. And we're going to be looking forward to going back there next year for the World Sprints from the IVF, the International Bot Federation, and that will be pretty exciting. So we'll see you there in about 50 weeks or so. We'll see everybody there for that one. But again, this is a great shot of. Are we still on Kihei? Yeah, I think this is still Kihei Canoe Club with us, with our little shot from our drone there. So you can see once again on the paddling side. Look at them. If we can hold that drone shot right there, we're catching them from two sides of this. But if we can get a drone shot like right above them, Alex, it'd be great to kind of go through and explain why these ladies are moving so well. You look at them, and they are really in unison. The canoe, look at how they're coming in and out. They're coming in and out of the water with their paddles in unison. They look good, and they are really moving up here. What a beautiful shot of this Kihei Club. This is the same crew. Now we're getting a side shot. But look at the A-frame these ladies have. A nice big reach from their stroker. They're getting a good first blade in on the changes, and they're smooth. They're just working right now. They're just like they're in the mode. They're not thinking. They're just flowing right now. It's totally just flowing, and it seems like their steerswoman has picked a decent line. I don't know where the more local crews are, if they're a little bit closer to the coastline, but yeah, this Kihei Club looks like they're going to have themselves a good race. We'll be having to check in with them throughout the rest of the morning because, man, these ladies are hammering it. What do you see there? They're doing great.
Yeah, there's sort of a school of thought where with the lighter unlimited boats that you should take a sort of shorter, quicker stroke. That's just sort of a general thought when you're comparing to the spec boat to limited. I think these ladies have a little bit of a quicker stroke than some of the other unlimited crews that we're looking at, and that seems to be working really well for them. They've got, putting all their power in the front, getting it quick out of the back, not dragging their stroke at all. Really smooth. They look really nice.
And you can see, I kind of feel like you were mentioning earlier, Katie, there was a little bit more texture on the water near the start line. It seemed to kind of really flatten out. It's not totally flat. There's some motion. There's some swell happening here. But there was almost like a slight hint of a headwind earlier, and not now. And that whatever's there doesn't seem to be bothering this crew of women from Kihei who are really really kind of settling in. I like to see this is an experienced crew that is settling in. They know they got big work ahead of them, and they're up to the task. So congratulations to Kihei. You guys are looking great out there today. Again, we have a bunch of their friends online, linking into us and just saying how stoked they are to be able to see their hometown crew. Okay,
we've got another drone shot here. We'll try to identify who this crew is if we can get a better look at their number. This is another spec boat.
This crew that you're looking at on your screen, Katie, is a little bit more middle of the pack. Our crew itself, our boat, is going to be slowly working our way up towards the front here, leaving these other ladies in the pink jerseys from Kihei to get their work in. But we're slowly kind of picking our way up to the front here and seeing where some of the top crews are starting to sparse themselves out. All right?
Yeah, that Kihei crew that we were watching, they're still moving up on the outside, and it looks to me like they are actually catching up to this front pack of the spec boats. They've only got, maybe 10 or so canoes in front of them, which also seems to be a mix of unlimited and spec crews. So we're still looking at the drone shot here of one of the canoes that one of the spec crews looks to be likely an iron crew that's a little bit further back from us. Sorry, hard for us to tell what that crew, who that is exactly. Couldn't get their number there.
Yeah, we're getting there. We go.
Sorry, that's the camera from our boat here. We're going to try to be focusing in on some of the other crews around here with the drone.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the theme with these clubs this year is Maui Strong. You know, we've had that disaster recently with the fires in Lahaina, and a lot of these crews and a lot of these clubs have, it's loaded with local people, and they're here to try to support their friends and family on Maui as they work through this difficult time. But again, Maui Strong definitely is a theme here, not only of a lot of the jerseys and stuff of these crews, but of this Queen Lili'uokalani race in general. When something of this magnitude happens in our community, especially here in Hawaii, we feel it. We all have a connection to a family, a friend, ancestral home, maybe in that area of the island. And so it hits on a different level. We are very connected throughout these islands, whether you were born and raised here or you moved here. But, our local paddling community certainly is coming together to try to support our friends and family on the west side of Maui. We grieve with you, we feel for you, and we support you, and we want to keep it in aloha. But as you're seeing right now, coming back to our canoe race here, what we have is, it looks like Joey Fody steering the Lanikai Open Women's Crew in an unlimited boat. That looks like, they're looking good right there. We got a good 6 in that crew making their way. They are certainly one of the top 10 crews here today.
Yeah,
they are
their
working
club,
hard.
The women did so well during the regatta season on Oahu. Did well at the state race as well, but they were really dominating pretty much the whole season. So they've got a good and fairly deep set of women paddlers over there, and men as well. The Lanikai Canoe Club right now is very strong in both the men and the women and the keiki and the kapuna. So quite a powerful and large club. Their ladies here really, really doing well in this front group, I think, of the unlimited canoes. I see maybe 2 other unlimited canoes around them that are in front of them. So I think they're at least in the top 5 of the unlimited.
And right in front here we have Maggie Twigsmith, that looks like, steering the Huinalu Open Women's Crew, just a couple of boat lengths in front of this Lanikai Canoe Club that you're seeing on your screen.
Yep, we're still looking at...
you definitely
you guys are looking at Lanikai,
Katie,
still.
That these unlimited canoes are making their way towards the front of the pack.
Yep, we've moved over to our drone shot. They're over there with the gray canoe with the orange llama. Try to figure out who that is for you guys. Dark blue jerseys.
Who is this we got on the
pink
screen
hats.
right now? No, right here on the screen. Is that crew out there?
Yeah, the drone is over here by the gray canoe.
Ah, okay.
The orange llama. Yeah, we've got... that's from what you're seeing now is a view from one of our other escort boats. I think they're a little bit further back in the pack where we are, so they're with one of the unlimited canoes. I'm sorry, one of the spec boats. We'll try to figure out who this is. Another crew who looks really smooth though. This is really a race where you can find that smooth groove and just try to lock into it. You're not going to be knocked off by different rough ocean open conditions that sort of make you restart when you have to get back together and find your groove, or when you're bringing in new people and you have to reset again. This one, boy, you really want to try to click in together and then just keep that smoothness going.
That is a good point, Katie. Yeah, this is definitely a race that will favor a crew that can just kind of settle in, be smooth, and not so much grind it out, but just flow through all the way to the end of this race. I think that is certainly the kind of race that we have today. This is our first koa that you're seeing on screen. That is, I believe, Kaihitu Canoe Club, their women's crew, and actually they are, even as a koa canoe, and all of these canoes are named, but especially our koa canoes, it is really important and special what they are named. This one is Hualalai, and we bring honor to this crew brings honor to this va'a by racing her today in such fine fashion. Hualalai, of course, being one of the mountains, one of the volcanic mountains here on the Big Island of Hawaii, that is in the area of where Kaihitu Canoe Club is. So these
and this
ladies are crushing it out here.
They're actually up in the front pack here. I mean, of course, we're still spread out a bit from people who are further from shore and people who are closer in. This koa boat is not quite the furthest out, but they're sort of closer to the more outside group than the inside group. Although I do see right now the front pack is actually starting to narrow. The distance that the furthest out boats have started to sort of move into shore a little bit, so they're not quite as spread out as they were, say, half an hour ago. Crews are starting, as they're coming closer and closer to the finish line, are kind of moving back together a little bit as they look ahead and see these points that they're going to have to go around.
It is so nice to see this koa canoe out here just being paddled and piloted, so to speak, so well. This is the most, it's historic in its style and in its construction, in the materials, and it's all made by hand with sanders, as are all the canoes, but koa canoe really special. And to see it here keeping up with our unlimited canoes is pretty awesome. We give them credit right there. So I believe right now we're seeing our most outside crew, and this I'm gonna go out on a gander here that this is that Kaihitu club, made up of paddlers from right here on the Big Island of Hawaii.
So interesting, Kalai. Right now we are with some of the crews that are, in, I'd say, like the front pack. And right here we've got two Big Island crews who are kind of on the outside.
Right.
And
you
behind
talked about
here,
local knowledge earlier.
Local knowledge. So I'm wondering if they've kind of taken this gamble of, knowing what they know about this race and what the conditions are doing right now, whether they're sort of thinking that this outside line is going to be better. Maybe the current's flowing down the coastline because of whatever the tide is doing right now. So I do see some other crews that are probably a quarter or a little bit more further inside than we are.
Yeah, so they're looking good right now. That is interesting, though. I don't see them necessarily making a move. I'm not sure if that water is any better than the water that is closer to the coastline. But, it's just going to be hard to tell over time. There was several years back where Bruce Ayal steered a crew of guys that eventually became the Red Bull gang, and they won this race in Akoa. They won this race, the men's race in Akoa, and just for those reasons, because Bruce knew that the currents on the inside were more favorable. He hugged the coastline, and they walked away with it that way in Akoa canoe, which was pretty special. But again, this is a spec boat here that we're watching. We're going to try to get some numbers here off of this canoe and bring you who they are, but you can see this a little bit farther in the pack. You can kind of see that there is not, watch the paddlers, there is not quite the unison of the top crews that we were talking about. They're not coming in and out of the water at exactly the same time with the same paddle angle, all of those things, which really tend to matter over time. Yeah, so pretty cool here. Just watching another crew back in the pack. And again, we're so happy to have you all joining us here for the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoe Festivals on the Big Island of Hawaii. Want to give a shout out to Kathy Hamasaki, who's watching us. Ro Pacheco is watching. We got John Dombrowski saying go SOCC. So Keone Miyake, one of our good buddies, is joining us online to watch. I know he's back on the wharf at Kailua Kona, and Keone was telling me that he's just here for the party. Good to have you, brother.
That crew that you were just watching,
yes.
I believe that was Manu Kekai. They're from the North Shore of Oahu, and they actually have also been doing really well this year. Even in the Dad Center race last weekend, they had a really good showing. So they've got a great group of ladies up there on the North Shore of Oahu.
Manu Kekai definitely has come up in the last, I would say, 8 years to a decade. They were kind of unheard of prior to that, but they really started putting in some good people into their crews, and they've, men and women, have really started to establish themselves as one of the clubs to watch. I guess you on the North Shore of Oahu, you have enough water people out there, right? And you just got to catch them in the paddling during the summer, because they're probably surfing.
They're probably surfing
all winter long.
Yeah.
It's good to have them out during the summer. So
yeah, my friend Catherine Lowe Griffin's on that crew. She actually just did the solo one-person crossing earlier this year in her canoe. So she's been putting in a lot of effort and training for sure. This may seem short to her after doing a crossing like that. What
was the crossing that she did?
She did the solo crossing from
Molokai.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
That is a fun race. Again, look at that drone shot. What a beautiful morning here on the coast of the Big Island. We are on the southwest side of the Big Island of Hawaii, and what a beautiful day for racing. Again, we're going to come up on this crew here, see who they are, what they got going on, and we're slowly creeping our way up to our leaders of the race today, and going to see how these top crews in the spec boats are able to hold off the unlimited canoes.
I think that's going to be tough this year. We've really see some of those unlimited canoes on the outside there are, I would say, creeping up quite closely to whoever this lead
Look
spec
at that
boat
jersey
is.
on the screen there. This might be, you think this is KLK? This is a regular Hawaiian spec boat here that we're coming up on. And this is our leader by probably a good, what do you think, quarter mile at this point?
Yeah, it's between an eighth and
Maybe
a quarter
as
mile
much
for
as a quarter
sure.
mile on the next crew behind them.
Yes, they definitely have pulled away. This is a little bit of a reminder, I think, of when we watched the outrigger women do something like this and started to pull away, and then the whole game was, is one of these unlimited canoes going to catch them or not? The race within the race, for sure.
Yeah.
So
then it becomes a battle between the spec boat and the unlimited boat, right?
Yes.
And the unlimited boat, you would think, would constantly try to creep up on them, but man, if you got a good crew moving that 400-pound canoe, it's not much out of a difference.
So on the screen, you guys are looking at the leaders in this race right now. This is a spec boat, gotten a good gap, really. On everybody.
And that's our escort boat right behind it, coming up on them. We're going to try to get a little tighter shot on what you're seeing here on your screen.
And this crew's going so fast, we're really trying to zoom ahead so we can catch up to them.
They're not giving us much of a shot.
Yes.
And coming up here, we're going to be maybe in another quarter mile or so, we're going to be crossing a nice point out there.
So with all the support this year for Maui and Lahaina, Lahaina chose the red as a support color, and so there's a lot of crews who are showing their support for Lahaina by wearing red. So we have a lot more crews out here this year that are wearing red, which sometimes make it a little bit harder for us to identify who this is. Oh, this is the Kalahui Kai crew.
Yep, Kalahui Kai crew.
Yes.
From the island of Oahu. As we had talked about earlier, these are some of the better paddlers from the south shore of Oahu. Some of them historically coming from crews like Outrigger Canoe Club or Huinalu Canoe Club, but they've come together under this banner of Kalahui Kai, which has been really a focus group, so to speak, for our younger paddlers. Kalahui Kai really started getting some of our junior paddlers into the sport earlier, noticing that the reason why the Tahitians continue to do so good is that they start paddling at a high level from a young age. And this Kalahui Kai group really, supported and driven by the Pfluger group came out here and started to develop a lot of these younger paddlers. And so the proof is in the pudding. These girls are in a spec boat, and they have a good lead not only on their division, but are continuing to hold off the unlimited division, who are nipping at their heels, so to speak. So these ladies are really putting it together. There's good energy in this crew. It's not too excited. They feel really smooth, and they're moving beautifully, Katie.
They sure are. I'm just trying to recognize who some of these women are. I think I see Lindsay Shank over there in seat 4. I'm trying to find their information page to get you that whole list of paddlers. But some of these women, I think, came from Outrigger Canoe Club. They paddled there in the past years, and then they've got some women that have come from some other clubs as well joining. But they've been practicing together. So this is not just throwing together a bunch of women. They've been training
this
together.
This is not like just a crew that came together for today's race. This crew is they've put time together over the years, probably.
And they've definitely put time on the water. Lots of training. These ladies are all great paddlers. And that is why they're so far out in front right now. So this drone shot, actually this is a shot from our motorboat here. Really, you can only see them. You can kind of see how far they are from shore. They've actually coming in closer to shore. We're about an hour into the race, so they're looking up ahead and can probably see the point at which they're going to turn and go into the finish. So they're starting to track their course and think about where they want to be along these points.
We're going to try to pull up alongside of this crew here and see if we can get a better shot of some of these ladies' faces and confirm who they are and take a good look at their stroke and what it is that's helping them be out here in first place all by themselves really at this point. They do have a little bit more of an inside line right now. They have a little bit more of an inside line right now compared to some of our Big Island crews, but it doesn't seem to be to their disadvantage. This Kalahui Kai crew has a really strong 6 in this boat right now, and they are moving ahead really nicely.
That's Donna Kahukui.
Yep, Donna Kahukui in 3.
In seat 3. They've got definitely organizing their crew here. Right now they're talking about who's going to drink and when. So who's going to? They only want one person to stop paddling at a time to drink. You want to keep everybody, as many people paddling at a time. It looks like Jessie Eames in seat 1.
Yep. Jessie Ames, a very strong paddler. She's been crushing this sport for years. Is that Angie Dolan or am I seeing? Yeah. They look great. This crew is moving along really, really nicely. Well, again, we're about an hour, a little bit over an hour into this race right here, and they're looking great. What a beautiful backdrop for this race. and really makes it spectator.
Yeah, these ladies looking super smooth. Obviously, it's working for them because they've got a gap on the other canoes. We're just trying to watch some of these outside canoes. There's some unlimited canoes out there that have been moving up through the pack, and we're about halfway through this race, so don't really know yet what's going to happen before the finish. There's a lot can still happen. You can see they're actually coming in fairly close to the shoreline as they're going past the points that come out along here. And still a beautiful day. We've got a little bit of hazy cloud cover. Not much. There's a little bit. I'm sure the men are at the other end knowing that they're going to have a hot race because it starts later in the day, and they're kind of hoping that some more clouds will roll in here for them.
So, Katie, I was just conversing with Mike Nakachi about where we are at in the race. So, again, we're probably about, what do you think, maybe an hour and 10 minutes into this race. And he's saying we only have about 7 miles left to go from here, which is pretty darn fast. I'm going to have to take back what I said about the water looking sticky.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to mention that Sean Kahava gave us a note here. He's watching, and his wife Jessie's up in the front, so he wanted to let us know that in that canoe is Jessie, Lindsay, Jenna, Beata, Donna, and Angie. Doing super well.
That's a pretty darn good lineup right there.
There it is.
And they're continuing at this point in the race with only the 7 miles roughly left to go. I can see this spec boat with this crew of women being able to hold off the competition.
Yeah.
They are doing great right here. You can see them right here behind us. Yeah. Right
no,
here.
this is the drone. It's actually gone back to some of the unlimited canoes that are creeping up. I think that was the Puna ladies in the pink shirts over there.
Yes.
Yep. And so there's, the race within the race, this group of unlimited canoes that are battling each other as they're trying to work up to the front of the spec boats. So they've got a couple of things going on there.
Oh, look how tight that is right there. Man. Katie, are those both unlimited boats? I know the one in the back is.
Yes, those are both unlimited
canoes.
So they are battling it out here. They say big ocean, but they got to be right there next to each other. And sometimes that actually helps to push you. Out here, sometimes you can, like this crew that's out in front, they're kind of on their own. They're having to push themselves and constantly try to feel how they feel they're doing, like how are we moving. But sometimes you can start to gauge how you're doing by being by another canoe and, like, are you starting to pull ahead from them? Are they starting to pull ahead from you? And so you gotta keep your head in your canoe, keep making your crew go as fast as it can, and not let the distraction of another crew next to you make you go any slower.
That's kind of an old steersman's trick, right, Katie? Like if you want to give your crew a little bit of a burst, you're gonna try to slide in next to the crew right in front of you, especially if you feel that you have what it takes to be able to take that crew down. You're going to come up on them. Here's another shot from back in the pack of some ladies paddling here. Not quite sure what crew that is, but again, what a beautiful day for racing here in Kaihitu. But man, that was the old. That's the old one where the steersman pulls up next to it, and now you can hear that other crew calling their changes.
That's right.
And it starts to really kind of pick up the excitement level in your own crew because there's a battle, right? A close battle.
That can motivate you, push us a little bit harder. Let's see if we can get past these crew. And, every change we've moved one seat ahead. And, that can keep you finding a little bit more down inside to push yourself.
Yeah, you want to call that hard change, but you want to give them something to gauge it by, So this is great. This is a great thing to be able to do. Again, we have this is crew 255. That you're not seeing on the on the TV screen. But again, what you're looking at right now on your screen is from a little bit back in the pack. This is one of our other crews, kind of in the middle of the gig back here. Hey. All right, we're going to try to switch it up to what looks like perhaps maybe second place crew overall, first in the unlimited. And is that my girl Dane Ward that I see in seat 5 and Anela Borges steering that crew? They are looking great.
Yeah, this crew here, this is an awesome crew that has Kristen Drost, Dane Ward. It's got Carolyn Sidomuk and Alani Hall from Lani Canoe Club, Anela Burgess, and Charisse.
Yeah, Alani up there stroking. This crew is looking really solid. So they're in an unlimited boat. They got their Lahaina Strong sticker on the back there supporting their brothers and sisters from the island of Maui, but they're looking really, really good.
Wow.
There's one other unlimited crew on the outside. That would probably be Kaihitu. And if I had to gauge, Katie, would you say that they're slowly making ground on that Kalahui Kai? Kalahui Kai seems like they're being reeled in slowly by these couple of unlimited crews. Right behind here, we also have a Huinalu spec boat, just to give you an idea of some of these crews up in the top.
And we've got Huinalu's Unlimited canoe just behind, which I think that you guys were just looking at. Yep, that's Huinalu's Unlimited crew.
What was the name again, Katie, of this crew of ladies? And this is the crew that you were talking about earlier. They kind of came together. They're putting it.
Yes, there are. That crew is the Aloha Unlimited, and they're actually a 40s crew.
Ah, okay. So 40s in the crew. Right behind them is
Not Kapuna, by the way.
Yeah, not Kapuna. And so the crew that you see on your screen is right behind.
Yeah.
I would believe the crew that you're seeing right now in the yellow boat from the drone shot is
that's Huinalu.
Huinalu.
Yeah.
Right, and they, I believe, I would give them third place in the
now.
Unlimited division right now. We have this. We have Kaihitu on the outside, I believe, from Big Island. Yeah. We have
the Aloha Unlimited.
Aloha Unlimited and Huinalu in the top 3 for the Unlimited division. We have KLK Kalahui Kai all the way with a big lead in the spec division, but they are also still holding off these unlimited canoes. This is Pu'uvai Canoe Club, looks like. Pu'uvai Canoe Club from the island of Kauai. I believe this is them here that you're seeing on your screen.
Yep, that's it.
213, I believe, is that crew.
Yes.
Thanks for bearing with us as we try to get the ID some of these crews. We have personnel on the boat that's here just to do that, but somehow it always falls to Katie. 213? You got 213 on there?
Yeah, that's Pu'uvai, yes.
Yeah, Pu'uvai Canoe Club, okay. Pu'uvai Canoe Club, Hui o Manaka Pu'uvai.
Yep, so that's an open women's crew, Unlimited. Yep.
Yep. Looking good, looking smooth. Pu'uvai. Not quite sure where they are in the pack.
In relationship to where we are.
I'm not calling them one of the leaders, but right now...
They're still in the front pack, though, I'd say.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So, again, Kalahui Kai has a commanding lead over the rest of the spec boat. Their lead is being slowly chipped away at by these top 3 unlimited crews, being Huinalu in third. I would say that would Team Aloha?
Aloha Unlimited.
Aloha Unlimited, thank you. And Kaihitu. Those 3 canoes are right next to each other in the Unlimited division and seem to be kind of reeling in that top boat from Kalahui Kai. We're going to see if we can't get a quick look at some of these other crews that are maybe like in second, third place. We're trying to give an idea of actually who's out there.
So right here on the screen, you can see the Aloha Unlimited, the kind of probably the first place crew right now in the Unlimited. Yep. And as they panned around there, you could look ahead and see the leaders right now who are in the spec boat. And so you could kind of capture that the distance that they have. I think that they are creeping up on that lead spec boat, but we'll see if they've got enough time and distance here to actually make that pass or not.
So again, Katie, I think we're south of 7 miles left to go. We got less than 7 miles left to go, and man, if you are in a second, third place, about when do you really feel you got to make your move? Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, this is Manuoke Kai on our screen right here.
And I wanted to mention something great about this crew here is their steerswoman is Verena Amantiad. Her daughter Kahanu is in seat 3. They raced together all season, and they actually got a gold medal together at States in the junior women race. So mother-daughter group here, that's awesome.
That is pretty special. But again, this is Manuoke Kai Canoe Club. They are from the North Shore of the island of Hawaii. I'm sorry, of the island of Oahu, and looking really strong. And what you notice too is that they don't have a canvas on this boat. They know coming to the Big Island on this Kona coast that you're not going to have to be worried about big waves while you're racing, and so it's better to have the inside of your hull well ventilated and kept cool for your paddlers. Keep them fresh, keep them cool. Nice movement, nice motion.
Yeah, these guys working together really, really well. It's beautiful.
Nice stroke out here.
They look very focused, I would say.
Yes, there is not a lot of chatter. There's not a lot of looking around. They are really kind of, like you said, focused and tuned in on just what's going on ahead of them. They, again, have probably about another, less than an hour left in this race, and they are moving along really nicely.
And I would say these ladies are in a very close second overall in the spec boat right now, if we're looking at who's around us. They've only got the lead boat, which is maybe a quarter mile up ahead, and then there's a few unlimiteds that have passed them. But
and just inshore of this of that Manu Club is another crew. I believe that's a mixed. That's a mix. So actually, they probably have a good one. Yep.
So the drone's panning out. You can see right there. I think that's a mixed crew.
That's our lead. That's our lead mix.
Our lead mixed crew.
Yep.
If we can figure out who that is, we'll let you know. But they are just behind and just inside the Manuoke Kai crew. So we're going to try to get a number here on this crew and let you guys know who you're looking at. The lead mixed boat in the spec canoe. This is Kaiola Canoe Club mixed 50s. Wow, they are crushing it. Yeah,
they're doing pretty good. Mixed 50s, and this is they're starting to beat some of these unlimited boats. Some decent paddlers in here. Look at them go.
And actually, nice so you can look here. Look at their stroke rate. It's much slower. I mean, they've got 3 men in here in this canoe. So, often with that power, you can slow the stroke down a little bit.
Yes.
Still get the same speed. And they're in a spec boat as well, which a lot of school of thought is to have a slightly slower stroke than maybe the unlimited canoe. Although the Tahitian men may not agree with that. I've watched them do about a 90 stroke rate in one of these boats. But
I've seen races where we've had shell paddling well into the 70s, almost 80 stroke count, and then EDT was paddling like a high 60s, and it's just different, bigger guys, longer paddles, shaft lengths, stuff like that, and so you got to put together a lot of things. That's the thing. As a spectator who doesn't really know paddling too much, you'd say, they're just put the paddle in, pull the paddle back. Put the paddle in, pull the paddle back. There's not much to it. But kind of like watching golf, there's so many little things to it, from, selection of equipment, where to put your people, what kind of stroke rate you're having,
which
timing,
golf club
technique,
you're using, or which
all of
paddle
that
you're
stuff.
using. And
it's the little intricacies of a sport that to the untrained eye don't seem like much. But if you kind of know what you're looking at, or have even paddled and experienced it yourself, it really makes a huge difference.
Okay, we've got somebody, Julie Barnes here. She's a new spectator. She's asking if we can explain again the difference between the different kinds of canoes, the spec boats versus the unlimited boats.
All right, Julie Barnes. Where is she tuning in from? Does it say?
She did not say where she's from.
Okay, Julie Barnes. That's part of what we're here for, is for exposure, to explain, to educate a little bit. So we'll go over a quick one. There are basically two types three types of canoes here today. What you're seeing right now is our mixed 50s in first place in their division from Kaiola Canoe Club, and this is what we call a spec boat. It has to be designed and weighed to fit very specific criteria. It's roughly 45 feet long, 400 pounds. This is what you see people racing, this is historically, over the last several decades, the boat that we have been racing with small variations. This particular one looks like it was made by Sonny Bradley of Bradley Canoes. The next one we would have, which is very similar to this, I believe, designed to the same specifications, are our koa canoes, right? Our koa canoes are basically the same as this canoe you see here, but they are made out of native Hawaiian koa wood. Makes them very special. They are extremely valuable, not only for the raw product that you make them with, but for the mana, or the power from the land that they carry with them when they're paddling. And as a paddler, they feel very special when you're paddling in them. Then what you're also going to see later on in the coverage, or hear us talk about, is the unlimited boats. And these canoes are roughly the same design. They have 6 seats. They have 2 iako, or outriggers, and they have an ama to help balance the boat. But they have zero requirements on their design specifications. The canoe builder and the canoe designer can come up with whatever they want. They can use whatever materials they want. They can make them as heavy or as light as they want. And really, those are what a lot of people say are the future of the racing for us here, where we're all going to be going. And what in a lot of other places like Tahiti, that's pretty much all they race.
Even places like California.
Yeah, California. They only race these unlimited boats. I don't know. These spec canoes don't seem to be doing too bad against these unlimited boats. And really, when you break it down as far as overall length, ama design, the main important stuff is kind of real similar. It's not huge differences between the unlimited and the spec boats.
Yeah, and so people sort of also have different schools of thoughts about when you would prefer to have an unlimited, very lightweight canoe, and when sometimes these heavier and stiffer canoes might be an advantage if maybe you're in rougher open ocean. Mm-hmm. Often people think too with the weight of the canoe, sometimes it actually carries speed for a little bit longer.
Yes.
You sort of have some momentum. So if you're surfing open ocean swells and you're actually getting pushed along by the ocean, you might be able to ride that out a little bit longer than in the lighter weight boat.
What we're seeing on this drone shot, Katie, is a really good example of 3 unlimited canoes in a really tight race. They're not in the top 3. They're just a little bit back from our position. I would say they're probably as much as a half a mile or so behind our overall leader, but a nice tight grouping. And, this is what we had mentioned earlier about getting these. Sometimes in this big, wide open ocean, you'll find a grouping of 3 canoes. And there is a certain amount of gravity that one canoe or one team has to other teams. They all want to be real tight and racing, and that's where you get the most excitement, right?
Yeah, and I think that I believe that when they first started allowing the unlimited division in this race, it was just unlimited. It's one group, one division, but now there's age group divisions within the unlimited. So not only are you battling for placement overall as an unlimited canoe and placement overall in the race in general, but you've got your age divisions within this unlimited. So they can look at each other and know, okay, that crew next to me is in an unlimited canoe, but they're not going to know, are they in my age division? Are we battling for a medal placement or not?
Yeah, and from those unlimited boats to this spec boat we see here a little bit farther back in the crew, and as all of our spectators know and all of our paddlers know, it ain't only about who's in the very lead all the way in the front. There's always battles happening, like we talked about, all throughout the course, and we're seeing a nice battle going on here. This looks like one of our senior ladies crews here. Hard for us to tell, but moving along nicely in a spec boat.
Yeah, we'll try to get a number in that canoe, let you guys know who we're looking at. No, we need to look at the purple number on there, try to identify who that is for you guys. Sorry, guys, trying to figure out who you're looking at. But they look like they have a nice, comfortable stroke. This might be... So I think we need to look at the number that's on the front of the canoe. The number on the back is going to be the one used for the men's race. Okay, and now actually you guys are looking at what we're looking at from our score boat. We've got 3 unlimited canoes right here. I think that 264, the green one, that's going to be Puna Canoe Club. Just going to confirm that for you guys. Yep, that's a Puna 40s crew. Inside of that here in the yellow, that is the Aloha Unlimited Open Women crew. And then 295 on the outside there is Kaiopua. They're a 40s crew. So these guys are in different age divisions. Some of them are open, some of them are 40s, but hey, they're all looking at that. They're all in the unlimited division, so this is a tight battle. Everybody is super focused here. And so you're feeling every little stroke here. Is it pulling you ahead of the other canoe? This is a tight battle. So
what's cool about this battle here is that all of these crews are from the Big Island. This Hulakai team, they're based out of the Kona Coast. No?
I think they're using a Hulakai canoe. This is the Aloha Unlimited crew. So I think they're from different islands.
Maybe the men will be racing that boat back. But that's Kaiopua back there, yes?
Yes. Yep.
And then Puna.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, tight how these guys are just dueling it out. And so sometimes doing this, can help propel you against what's going on around you. These 2 crews right here are pushing each other really hard, and they've started to pull away from that Kaiopua canoe as they're battling it out. So they're looking up ahead. They've probably got...
So again, really, really smooth paddling. You're going to see the 2 different stroke rates in the Hulakai canoe here, the yellow with black trim. They certainly seem to be working a lot harder. They're way more intense and a higher stroke rate. Now that Puna crew doesn't seem to be phased. Their stroker is staying on her game. And, it's good to have a little bit of extra energy when you're trying to make a move on a crew next to you. But the trick is, are you able to sustain it? Are you able to take those gains and hold on to them? Or another strategy is be the green canoe right now.
Be the patient one.
They're relaxing. They're going to let the other crew maybe burn themselves out. And that's a gamble because you don't know. They might not be burning themselves out. They may be able to handle it. They're going to let them kind of burn themselves out. Then they're going to answer with a shot of their own from the back. So right now, every woman in both of these crews is really giving everything she got, being totally aware of where they are in this race. That this race right here between these 2 crews means you're either on the podium or you're not. This is a race for probably 3rd or 4th place. And so again, exciting stuff. Look at this view behind us of the beautiful Kona Coast. I mean, we really have, in so many ways, one of the best venues for long-distance canoe racing. I mean, not only is the ocean beautiful out here, the coastline, but when you're talking about crews coming from outer islands or mainland U.S. or all of that international participation we talked about earlier, Australia, Taiwan, Japan, New Zealand, all of these places, this is a great location to race. It's easy to get escort boats if you need them, right? There's an international airport, right here down the street, literally. there are plenty of hotels or places that you can find to stay. Accommodations are easy because, what we always focus on is a paddler, the paddling and the movement of the canoes, rightly so. But what you don't see is all the logistics that they have to go through just to get here,
and
be
do
able
this.
to race,
yes.
to be able to do this.
Yes.
And there's a lot of that behind that happens. And if that's exceedingly difficult, it can really be a make or break kind of deal. You might just not want to come because it's too much of a pain in the okole to get there, Anyhow, yep. This is another crew that we're looking at here. This is in the middle of the pack back there, just kind of seeing other crews, checking in with the rest of the paddlers out here today. Again, as Katie had mentioned, we're looking at probably in the neighborhood of 200 entries for just this morning's race, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
and good to see. And we talked about it a lot at the state regatta race, Katie, but, man, I think in this last year, outrigger canoe paddling has made a heck of a comeback post-pandemic.
I agree
think
with that.
This has really been the year across the board. We've talked to the leaders of the Hawaiian Canoe Racing Association, canoe club presidents, all across the board, and everyone is saying they're seeing about a 20 to 30+% increase in just the number of paddlers there. My local canoe club, Kihei, I don't know if they're here today, but man, I drive by the parking lot. It's full every day, and it's not only the adult paddlers, it's the keiki. And when we get the numbers involved in the keiki paddling, that's where 5-10 years from now, Katie, that's where you begin to see the dividends of the quality of paddlers we're able to churn out once they get to the adult level,
That's right. And I think a lot of people are super excited to be able to travel. And this is to go to a canoe race in some other part of your country or in another country somewhere is really an awesome way to go visit a place because you get to meet people from that location. People are willing to help you out and give you pointers and help provide a canoe for you to use, but also just kind of share their location with you. And I've seen some amazing parts of the world and met some wonderful people all over because of traveling with canoe paddling.
Yep.
And this is such a great destination race because there is so much going on here, days of racing and things you can participate in. There's the International Paddlers Night where they have presentations. There's a group of people here from Taiwan. They've got 30 people here.
Wow.
And I heard an amazing presentation on the International Paddlers Night. So it's just super great to travel and to meet people from all over the world that like to do the same thing you like to do, to get out there and just enjoy the ocean, enjoy doing a team sport. I think as we get older, when you're younger, when you're a teenager and you're in school, there's so many different team sports that you can do. But as you get older, there's less available. People aren't, playing so much adult soccer or adult, things that you were doing as a kid. But outrigger paddling is such a wonderful team sport in that you get in the canoe, and that 6 in that canoe at the time really needs to be a team.
You got to make it gel in a very special way, as are these ladies from Puna Canoe Club. We're looking again at this battle that we've been watching happen back and forth for the last, several minutes here, at least 1.5 miles to 2 miles. And these ladies are going back and forth. They're actually in their unlimited canoes, beginning to pass our top 50s mixed crew. But still yet, even with all of what they got going on, nobody's really walking away from each other. Just outside of them looks like our first place koa. And so the action is really, really happening here right now.
It is, and we watched this crew that you guys are seeing now. This is the Aloha Unlimited canoe or crew in the Hulawai canoe was in right next to and in this very tight battle with Puna. They started kind of, I think, picking things up a little bit and pulled ahead of Puna, but now Puna has actually started to move inside of them. Looking like maybe they're thinking that adjusting their course a little bit might be to their benefit. So I see them starting to split apart a little bit.
Okay, yeah. And as we were talking about earlier, Katie, about if you're going to come to a canoe race, this is the one to come to. And there you have the rising sun there on the back manu of this canoe. This is a team from Japan enjoying a beautiful morning here in Kaihitu. Doing a great job. This is a crew out of Japan. Isn't that cool? You see the flag
cool.
on the back?
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to, once we get the number on the canoe, but I did talk to some people yesterday. They are from Yokohama, the Chigasaki Canoe Club from Japan. They brought 13 people here. They've got a women's crew and a men's crew, and also one of their paddlers is actually paddling with a Singapore crew, so there's some real international teams. But yeah, they have a canoe club of like 100 people, including kids. Some of them have never done this race before, and some of them have, so they have a big mix of people. But it's just great to see, these international clubs bringing not just a crew, but bringing several crews, and bringing men and bringing women and bringing teenagers and bringing older adults, and they're all coming here to enjoy this.
If you're going to head international and try to do a canoe race, this is probably the one to do in my mind. I really, as you had mentioned earlier, Katie, that when you have these people that are coming from Japan, they don't have a great depth of knowledge readily available to them in their neighborhood. If you go on Oahu, you can find dozens of people with perspectives on canoe paddling and coaching and all that have been doing it for decades and decades, and so much depth of information, from things about stroke to canoe style to everything. You can have any of that. So what's neat is when these clubs and paddlers come from places where they don't have a lot of that information. Hawaii is definitely one of the meccas for canoe paddling, along with, of course, Tahiti and arguably places like Aotearoa. But the people that they can meet and network with, there are often like clinics available for them to take, and it's really by going abroad that they have the opportunity to really advance what's happening in their own club. We're gonna change our stroke. We're gonna start doing things a little differently. We're gonna bring maybe somebody like, I'll throw out a name, Johnny Puakea, to have a clinic now, because we've met him here at a place like the Queen Lili'uokalani Races. So the outreach that's available for these paddlers from places where there isn't really a lot of paddling, and the ability for them to come here and improve themselves with what they take home, I mean, that's worth the price of the plane ticket, just that. Not even to mention the great experience of being here with multiple days of racing on a world-class course in one of the most beautiful towns, in the state. I think it's a no-brainer. It's really a no-brainer. If you want to come and paddle, and I'm talking to those folks out here that are online, that are logging in and watching us today, get your stuff together, get your crew together, bring them here next year. This is the one to do. And we have paddled and have covered all the big races, all the world championships, Catalina, all of these places. And not only being a Hawaiian paddler, I'm a little biased, of course, but man, what you can get and what you can see, international participation, you people watching from places far away, get it together, start planning next year. We'll see you in about 52 weeks, because it's going to be happening here next year as well, right? This is the one to come to, hands down.
Yes, this is an amazing race, and so many different events here. They had on Thursday a 4-person canoe relay race.
Yep. As we continue to watch some canoes mid-pack, is that hard for me to tell because of the shadowing? Is that a claw? I don't know, kind of hard.
Yeah.
But we're just continuing to show you some of the, it's just a spec boat there, Ekalamai, but just continuing to bring you some footage from back in the pack. You may see your crew, your friends, whatever, back there. So kind of neat. We're making our way up to the top, and we're going to bring you an update from the front, from the leaders. But hey, there's some competitive paddling going on throughout the pack. So I'm sorry, Katie, as you were saying earlier.
Oh, I was saying there. Well, you started to talk about people coming here and meeting meeting paddlers and sometimes bringing them back to their place. And I was talking with some people from Taiwan yesterday. You know, they have 30 people here, where they have 3 different groups of people. One of those groups is a club that is all Taiwanese indigenous people.
Wow.
But one of their paddlers had lived in Hawaii previously, and she had paddled with Uncle Kimokea. And so he went over to Taiwan about 2 years ago and started teaching some people how to paddle and learning how to do outrigger paddling. He went back again this year in July and worked with them, working more on training them to paddle. And so they were able to bring the 3 different groups over, and they've got men paddling, women paddling, they've got kids paddling, and it's just wonderful to see all these international people, and they were influenced by someone somewhere, you know, to start outrigger paddling. And they've been a wonderful addition to this race this year. Just super happy to be here. And that for them, this is their first race outside of Taiwan. So if you're going to take your first race outside of your country, this is a great one.
No, for sure. And it's also, this race is a venue for you to share your culture. Right? So those people from Taiwan, they came, they sang, they did all of that. It was fantastic. We continue to, is that from right here? Yeah, I think
you guys are looking at,
okay.
We're looking at. Yep.
All right, this is your first place spec boat. This is Kalahui Kai, group of ladies from the island of Oahu. We have Jessica Alva in the front, Jesse Ames. We have, I think, Angie Dolan's on this crew. Donna Kahakui. We got some top wahinis there in this crew. Yep. But what it seems to have happened, and we're going to bring some of that to you a little bit later, but we have a crew on the outside that has made their move and has pulled away. So this right here is a Sonny Bradley spec boat, 45-foot long, 400-pound, probably carbon fiber and fiberglass canoe. They got that new Kai Va'aama that Kai Bartlett designed and is being made right here on the Big Island, the Kohala Coast, by Tiger, of Tiger Canoe. So this is like top of the line, beautiful Bradley canoe right here. And they probably have about 4 miles left to go. They have a very secure lead in their division, which would be the spec boat division. I would say easily they are a good half mile plus ahead of the next spec boat. So barring any type of disaster, which doesn't look like it's readily going to happen in this type of Malie water, we're looking at this as being our first place finisher in the spec division. They have led this race overall up until very recently. In the last few minutes, as we were talking about how great the Queen Lili'uokalani race is for paddlers from all over the globe, it seems like our unlimited boat has made a move on the outside and is in first place. That is not what you're seeing on your screen right now. I'm not sure who this is or what number that is. But, yeah, this is fairly far back in the pack. We've been seeing this same canoe with the black and white motif and the black triangles. Yeah, we have Waikiki Beach Boys on the back there, and just looks like a senior ladies crew. They're battling it out over there. They got a little while left to go. Again, we're about this race started about 7:30. I have it about 9:15, so we're not quite 2 hours into this race. And we'll see. I think these ladies are going to be right over the 2 hour mark as far as the finish time. But Katie, we're gonna be leaving just behind us. We're going to be leaving our first place spec boat behind. They've led this race for about 3/4 of it. We are coming around the point here in Kihei. Some people call this area Captain Cook, but this is the area where in one fateful Valentine's Day, the Hawaiians dragged Captain Cook up on shore and ate him. This is also the ancestral home for the great warrior Keku Haupio, who was the Lua master and instructor and went into battle with our King Kamehameha. And so this is a very historic part of this coastline, as it is all the way down, but a very historic part of this coastline. And I'm happy to say that these ladies that you're watching right here, this is Kaihitu Canoe Club. This is made up of a bunch of ladies from right here on the little bit more north, the Kohala coast, but right here on this coastline. And I was talking to them this morning. I said, girls, this is the year. I'm feeling it. You're going to come out here in this beautiful Matahina canoe designed in Tahiti. What a beautiful, beautiful vessel they have, and what beautiful paddling we have going on right now. They know that they are firmly in the lead. Nobody's going to be catching them, and still they press. They have a beautiful stroke going on there, and it's very relaxed. They're doing the work in the water, and by that I mean they are very relaxed, not only in their bodies, they are relaxed in their recovery, and yet you can watch the striations of the muscle on some of these ladies, and you could tell they're relaxed up into the point where they hit that catch in the front of their stroke, and they're driving through the water. And this canoe is singing down this coastline right now as they're working their way to Honau now, probably only about 3 miles left to go. And this is beautiful paddling. They have girls of strong, tall, lean stature. They're able to make the most out of a big stroke like that. And these are not small ladies. They are not small girls. Again, they're not overly big, but there's no wasted space on them. These athletes, these ladies are athletes. They are here to make it happen. And you can see just how nicely they are making this boat move, this beautiful Matahina canoe. And there is no doubt that they had planned this out. They came from the outside, worked their way down the coast, and once, maybe about 3 miles back, they started to angle themselves into Kihei. They've been here before. They know this water, and they are just sliding into a finish line right here. Just beautiful, beautiful paddling. These ladies are tops on the Kona coast today. What are you seeing there, Katie? I mean, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful, and I just watching their stroke. They just look so strong and relaxed. They clearly know where their position is in the race, that they're out in the front, but I think they're not going to back off at all. They're going to keep pushing themselves, try to widen this gap, and try to just make sure that they clinch not only their division, but the overall first canoe to come in here. But yes, they are looking super strong, and not a super fast stroke rate. This is actually for women in an unlimited canoe. This looks like a really comfortable stroke rate.
Yeah, this is, you can tell just by, man, they are smooth, huh, Katie? They are smooth, and it's a very relaxed. It's, it's the feeling like, hey, we're out here, another day of work, And these girls are fit, and they ain't fooling around.
They are not.
They ain't playing. And I've just had the joy of watching this core group of 6 and some other women that they have that paddle with them, to round off their 9-man. And they're always, as life's distractions come at you, team members come in and out. But this core 6, they've worked at this, and to see them pull off this win is just fantastic. It is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's just super smooth paddling. I can still see them pulling away even from the other limited canoes. They're looking pretty comfortable, and looking ahead, they know where that finish line is, so they know how much that they have left to go, how much they need to still keep in the tank to finish this off strongly and in front. It's great. We've got some little boats pulling up on the outside of them who are yelling and cheering at them, but they're very quiet. Sometimes, depending on your crew and depending on how you're doing, there's a little bit more talking, either telling each other what to do or maybe just cheering for each other. These guys are really quiet, pushing each other in a very subtle, strong, quiet way. Very focused.
Every crew has its own dynamic based upon the people that are in it. Some of those Tahitian crews, a lot of the, like Shelva, them, they like to talk a lot and stuff like that. But man, this is as far as women's paddling, this is certainly one of the top crews here in Hawaii. They to come out here and win a race like this is pretty solid. There's a handful of crews in women's outrigger paddling that are at the top, and this is one of them. And it hasn't been something that happened overnight. These ladies have been paddling together for a while. Recently, they've gone under the banner of Kaihitu Canoe Club. They raced states under Kaihitu and pulled off a gold medal there. And so all of those prior performances, something that's brought them here today. This is no mistake. This is not something that just happened. And these ladies are out here crushing it right now. They are crushing it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of our comments here. We've got somebody watching from Turkey.
Turkey?
Yes.
Wow.
All over cheering on the Kihei crew. That's from Bo James Forster. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. It's awesome to see all you logging in here and cheering for your different teams. We're trying to let you know who they are when we see them and what their positions are.
Talk about them. So right now we'll try to get as close as we can, but we'll talk a little bit about these ladies and just the paddling in that itself. So you can see, they have arms, slightly bent. They got a lot of power in what they're doing, but that A-frame that you're seeing is really kind of staying consistent. It's the timing, it's the application of power. The stroker is continuing to keep that reach nice and long. She's got some tall women behind her, especially in seat 4, and she wants to make sure that she's getting everything she can out of them. These ladies have a nice long reach. They're really focused. Body positioning looks fairly calm, especially you look in like seat 3. Really calm in the shoulders and the head. You want to keep the rest of your body really quiet as you're paddling. You want to be able to conserve all of your energy as best you can for the application of power at the catch of the stroke. And so really you kind of look at the body is quiet, shoulders seem as relaxed as they can be. They're not bending over to an uncomfortable location. They're simply reaching out, applying the power through the body though, and you're going to see that. You're able to apply power through the body by not bending your arms so much, right? Those arms are slightly bent in a position of strength, but you're not moving your elbow much through the power stroke of it. It's the body that's doing it. And what you're not seeing for a lot of our paddlers or a lot of our spectators that are not super experienced with paddling is in particularly a 6-man canoe, the majority of your power is coming off of the legs. You're pushing through your legs, and that's where you're delivering a lot of that power through with the bigger muscles of your back, the bigger muscles of your legs and hips, and those arms are just locked in, and sometimes the arms are nothing more of the body's attachment point to these paddles. So it's great to see these ladies. We're going to continue to stay with them as they move toward a finish line here, and sub 3 miles left to go for our leaders as we head back in the pack, probably just about 1.5 miles to 2 miles, seeing some of our women's crews, other crews. Hard for us to tell exactly what's going on, but these ladies are a couple miles back, and really to the finish.
Okay, we've got a shout out here from Jason Park. He's in Tacoma. He says it's up where the Hokulea is currently docked this weekend.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, he's cheering on. They've got a crew here, Kikaha Okekai mixed crew.
Kikaha Okekai?
Yes, from
All
Tacoma.
right, well, they're from, what was the area?
Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma, Washington. Very cool. Yes, our flagship Va'a, the queen of the fleet, Hokulea, is up there on the, is it the Moana Nui? Anyway, they have a voyage up there, spreading the word about taking care of this planet through the using that as an instrument. Yeah, another worldwide voyage.
Yeah.
So great to know that Hokulea is there, sending all of our love out to our Polynesian Voyaging Society family. and again, that was we mourn the loss of Mo'olele. One of our voyaging canoes was lost in the fire. She was actually a sister canoe to Hokule'a. So we mourn the loss of that. That is a huge loss for our canoe family, especially our ohana on in the Lahaina area, our Maui County voyagers. So we mourn that loss. But again, we're here watching a great overhead shot of, I believe that might be, that is our leader in the spec division that you're seeing right now, the Kalahui Kai ladies, still looking smooth, still looking strong. Our boat captain, Mike Nakachi, informs us that the leaders have 1.5 miles to the finish line. So this will be about another 12 minutes or so here to the finish, making this a pretty darn fast race. That's just over 2 hours. So these girls looking good. And sometimes it's hard when you're that far in the lead to really press it, right? You know, are you trying to set a record, or are you just trying to maintain the win?
I might have to disagree with you. I think sometimes you get up in the front. A lot of crews, you don't start feeling comfortable. You're going to continue what you were doing to get yourself there. You're going to continue to press. You're going to try to, make that gap to the next crew as far as you can to just, safely get there and make sure that nobody's going to sneak up on you. You're not going to stop pressing until you get across that finish line. And so I'm sure that the crew that's in the front of the spec boat is looking ahead at the unlimited crew in front of them, and they want to minimize that gap. They want to make sure that they come in as close as they can. And yeah.
So what you're seeing right now, that is a battle for overall second and third place. I believe that is an unlimited boat on the outside in white. And with the red spray cover, that is our spec boat there. It does seem that the unlimited boat is a little more lively and easy to move in this flatter water, but that spec boat is moving nicely. So this is the battle for overall second place. However, this crew you're seeing in the foreground with the red spray canvas, they are solidly first place in their division.
Yeah, in the spec boat, they have a commanding lead. But now, they've got the race within the race. They're not going to want to let that unlimited canoe pass them, especially when they're looking up ahead here. They've got, probably just over a mile or so left, and so they're going to push themselves. These are not the kind of ladies to give up and say, "Oh, we'll just let them go," because they're not in our division.
No,
they are not going to do that.
You don't become a top-level paddler being with that kind of mindset, right? For sure.
Yeah. So they're probably in their comfortable groove of being up here in the front, but they're going to start to push themselves a little bit with what they got left, knowing that they've only got a mile to go.
Yeah. So we'll continue to stay with the leaders, but you're seeing some footage from boat 2 back there. Do we have a number for this canoe here, Katie? We have a number for that boat. If we can catch maybe the front of it. Oh, yeah. What flag is that? I don't know what flag that is. Hopefully that's a signal that it's going to be one of our international crews representing from across the world. If there's anybody online that can chime in and let us know who that is, what crew that might be, and what flag that might be. Maybe that's
they're using a
federation.
Well,
I see a Southern Cross. Maybe it's someone from the South Pacific, maybe from Aotearoa.
Yep, and there's also the little portion of the British flag.
They're borrowing a canoe from Kaiopua. Those ladies enjoying a beautiful day out here for the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoes Races. Our coverage is only today and after the culmination of this race, and giving our crews some time to switch out boats with their kane. The men will race back to Kailua Kona, the main wharf there, and a celebration will ensue. But don't forget, there are several days of activities here for our crew.
Okay, we've got somebody online that they're telling us that this is an Australian flag. So that canoe that we were watching that we just panned away from, that was an Australian crew. Thank you guys for letting us know. Yeah, guys for watching from all over the place. New Zealand, Australia, someone from Hood River. Thanks, Sherry. It's great to know that we've got you guys watching from all over the place.
It's another look at where we are right now. You're seeing the drone shot of the second place.
Battle for second.
Yeah, second place. And that's that Aloha Unlimited crew, I think. That's
yes.
the one that has Dane Ward and Sharice Agarastas and those gang in it. And then right next to them is the Kalahui Kai in red. That is the top spec boat crew. And I would say a quarter mile ahead of these ladies is that Kaihitu team from right here on the big island of Hawaii, rounding the corner into Ho'onaunau, or the city of refuge, where we're going to have our finish line there. And they're looking great. We are probably in the neighborhood of a mile or so from the finish line.
These guys are maybe 3/4 of a mile to the finish. So again, these guys are battling out for second overall, and I can just see them. You know, they're gonna give what they got to put in their performance that they're going to be proud of, and they're not going to give up that second place. There you see the first crew now rounding the corner to turn into the finish. So they've only got another, maybe a little more than a quarter mile to the finish. And
it's hard to see. They're paddling so fast. Our drone is having a challenge keeping up with them.
You can see the distance that they've put on everybody, really. So they've got a comfortable gap between these two crews that are fighting for second. Then just behind those two crews, we have another little battle going on for fourth. That looks like the Huinalu Unlimited crew and another unlimited boat. So looks like a number of the unlimited boats were able to move up to the front here, and with only one spec boat really able to stay out ahead of this lead
I
pack.
don't know if it was, boat selection this year, canoe selection. Did all the top crews kind of, most of them pick spec? Pick unlimited, because last year it seemed a little bit more, you had a few of each up towards the top over here. So we'll see. There's a lot of strategy in picking what division you're going to enter so that you kind of have an idea that you're going to finish in first place. Now, was that Aloha Unlimited crew, was that a 40s?
40s crew.
So our women's 40s is in first place in their division, but second place overall and second place overall against all the Unlimiteds. Those 40s ladies have beat a lot of these younger wahine out there, and so I think it's always neat to be able to acknowledge that man, maybe 40 is the new 30. And so what you see right behind us, this is the coastline as they have turned into the finish line, headed down, and we're going to be seeing in just a short second here our lead canoe. This is Kaihitu in their Matahina crew over here. You see them right between me and Katie, right here. This is I should have done the weather, Katie. I should have done the weather. But they're looking great. They're coming in. We're getting drone shots of them right along that coastline. And what a nice finish they get. There seems to be a little bit of a push, or maybe a little bit of a surf.
I think this little southwest
bay. I'm not totally certain what the tides are.
Yeah.
But, this is looking like a great finish for these ladies. And they have got to be ecstatic to be able to bring it home on home turf. How
First
cool
place
is that?
overall.
Yeah. How cool is that? And this is a successful crew. This is not their first race win. I'm not sure if this is their first win of the Queen Lili'uokalani, but what a special day for these ladies, really, to put it all together on their own home turf for the 50th anniversary of the biggest and most important race on this island.
That's right.
This is going to be just a memorable moment for these. This is something they're going to be hold on to for the rest of their lives. And these ladies are the champs here today. And man, all those factors just making it so special. And it's great seeing them pull it off in this fashion.
It is to come across here and be the first canoe across the line with over 200 canoes in this race this morning. So special. They're coming in. They're still pushing, looking strong, but I can see some smiles creeping into their face here as they know they've won this race here.
They have got
lots of people cheering for them.
They have got to be soaking this up right now, Katie.
Yes.
And if they're not, they're missing it. They're really just soaking it up and enjoying the fact. And what's so neat about coming in here at Honau now is you have the whole array of Kane paddlers on shore watching you finish. You're going to see that now as we kind of pull in behind them. And as they go on to shore, everyone for the men's race is watching. So you're coming into a huge bunch of spectators.
They have a whole boat
here and coming into Honau now, which is a very historical place, a city of refuge for Hawaiians for generations, hundreds of years. And I can't think of a better way for these women of the Kona Coast to be able to be our champions here this morning. What a fantastic win. Woo, I'm excited, Katie. This is the way to do it.
And they clearly have a lot of local fans here. We just passed a whole motorboat full of people, Kaihitu shirts on, that were cheering loudly for them. Maybe you can even hear them over our mics, but big crowds here on the shoreline of people cheering. And clearly a lot of these people are not the men paddlers. These are people who came down to watch this race and, to cheer on all their families and the local people. So everybody is super stoked for them.
Oh, they've got to be so emotional right now, Katie.
Yeah.
I mean, just to win, just commandingly. I mean, they smashed everybody. Let's put it this way. I know that was a term I used too much during the state race coverage, but man, they smashed.
And you asked me about if I thought that these guys were going to relax and slow down because they were ahead. No way. So we continue to watch these ladies come in here and the finish line. This is our Aloha Unlimited. This is second place overall. Second place generally with the unlimited boats, but first place in the unlimited 40s, and right behind them in red, that's Kalahui Kai. That's going to be first place overall. Third place overall. Yeah. First place in the open spec boat, right? Yes.
So winning their division. Sorry, we might not know the winners of every division coming in, as far as mixed or different age groups and stuff. But this crew right here that you're watching in white, first in their division, they haven't spent a lot of time paddling together, but, man, they have some really, really top-notch ladies. Anela Borges steering them there.
Alani
Ward
Hall.
in 5. Looks like I think that was Sri Sagarasas in 4.
Alani Hall was stroking.
Some really, really solid paddlers. And then Kalahui Kai coming across the finish line right next to them. You'll see them creep into your screen right here.
There's Donna Kahukui, Lindsay Shank. Yep.
Another bunch of top-notch
Jessica Ava stroking.
Athletes there.
Yes. Tough finish for those guys. They were really strong and really commanding win in their division and in all of the spec boats. So third overall.
It looks like 5 of our top 6 canoes are going to be unlimited.
Yeah. So it seems like
Huinalu
this
here.
Is Huinalu. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an open women's unlimited. Yeah, Huinalu.
Yeah, big smiles coming across. Maggie Twig-Smith there.
Yep. Savannah Wright stroking.
Nice work. 4th place overall, 3rd in the unlimited, and probably 2nd in the unlimited open division, huh?
Yes, I'd say that's right.
Yeah, another canoe coming in here. This is 263. Is this Kihei we're looking at?
This is Puna.
Oh, this is, you sure?
263. Yes.
263. We're going to check real quick.
Yep, it says Puna.
Who is this, Katie?
It says it was Puna.
Puna Canoe Club.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Puna, strong showing. Hey, think about that. A couple of these, of the top 5 crews, were from right here on the Big Island, man. It may not be the most populous island, but when it comes to paddling, they got a lot of the top crews, man. Big Island is no joke when it comes to paddling. Here's some more of our top finishers coming in here.
This is going to be the 4th unlimited canoe and the 5th canoe overall.
4th, 5th,
yep. And both canoes coming in here, unlimited canoes. So you're right, we've only had one spec boat so far, and this will be a team 5th and 6th overall, 2 unlimited canoes. Yeah, this looks like the Kihei crew.
Like the Kihei crew we were looking at earlier.
In the Hulakai canoe.
Nope, the Hulakai canoe was a little bit back.
Sorry.
I think. It's going to be after these two, I believe.
You're right. I'm thrown off by the yellow and red.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a beautiful canoe, though. Look at that paint job.
With the graphics. This is Kihei Canoe Club from the island of Maui on the southwest side of the island of Maui. They're used to this kind of water. Nice showing by these ladies. Good work. Overall, great work.
That crew is called the Kihei Pink Hats.
The Kihei Kitty Cats?
Pink Hats.
Pink Hats. Kihei Pink Hats.
Okay, coming in next is Keokaha.
This is Keokaha Canoe Club.
Open Women Unlimited crew.
Nice. Oh, no, this is Lanikaya.
Oh, 289. I'm sorry. I got that wrong. This is Lanikai.
This
You're
is
right.
Lanikai Canoe Club.
This is Open
Joey
Women,
Fody.
Lanikai.
Yep, Lanikai Canoe Club.
Nice job, Lanikai.
How many canoes do you think we've had? About 7 or 8 finished so far.
And
as you can tell by
6.
that rocky coastline, it's a little tricky trying to get the crews onto shore and the next crews coming out. But what a beautiful little bay here it is in Honaunau. The water is crystal clear. You can look down 20 feet and see fish and the works. Man, it is a beautiful, beautiful coastline.
This is one of the most amazing places to finish your race, and
yes.
you can get out and jump in the water, and just there's fish, there's
coral,
crystal
clear
it's
water.
Just incredibly beautiful. And then you can hand your canoe over to the men and send them off into their race in the heat. Yes, this is just a spectacular national park here.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with this, I tell you that, boy.
So we've had 6 canoes finished so far. So 5 were unlimited, and 1 was the one spec boat so far.
It feels like more. Yeah, we got a cool shot there from our drone. You can see how crystal clear the water is. You can see the rest of the crews coming around the corner there. Beautiful, beautiful shot. And that's that Hulakai yellow and black canoe right there.
Oh, there it is. I think
this is an answer for a question Lauren McLeod had online. Lauren McCord. We are not live again tomorrow for the double haul. This is our only live coverage. It will be continuing, though, after a short break for switchover of canoes and to give Katie and I a second to get out of the sun. But it's going to be switching off to the men's cruise. And this is that 654 coming in. 254, sorry.
Okay, this is going to be the Aloha Unlimited Open Women.
This is that Aloha Unlimited Open Women. I guess they had 2 crews.
They had
Aloha
2
Unlimited
crews,
had 2.
yes.
They had a 40s and an Open.
Yep. So they had two crews in the Unlimited canoes. So 2 top 10 finishes. That's pretty awesome.
Good. And they're not even really a canoe club. Yep, we're going into a tight battle right here coming into the finish. That looks like Puna in green.
Wow, we have
with
3
our
canoes
second
here.
place spec boat.
That's in the Manuoke Kai.
Manuoke Kai, second place overall in a spec boat there with the orange trim. And Puna Canoe Club, their second finishing boat here.
And again, we're talking race within a race. These guys pushing each other to the finish.
Right behind them, who is that? 232. It looks like Arlene.
That's a Huinalu boat.
Huinalu boat, yep.
It's another Huinalu crew.
Is that a Huinalu 40s crew? 232?
It says 60 plus.
Unlimited 60 plus. I'm going out on a line here and saying I'm having that hard to believe. Those ladies do not look 60 plus. You said 232?
Yeah.
They look top shape. Hey, you can be 60 in top shape.
Yes.
Maybe I'm wrong. 60 is the new 40, right? Kaupua Canoe Club coming in here. And really, of all the canoes that we've seen finish so far, it was
This is a 40s plus unlimited crew that just finished Kaupua.
Yep, 40s plus. So they're second place in the 40s, I believe. Unlimited for Kaupua Canoe Club. In their va'a, they're named after Bini Heen, a Kaupua paddler, and longtime Kailua Canoe Club paddler as well.
So people on shore cheering loudly for another battle coming in.
Really dominant performance by our unlimited canoes. Definitely unlimited canoe type water happening here today.
Okay, we've got a battle coming here. This is this is a spec boat, and it's battling with our first koa canoe coming in.
First place mix and first place koa happening in a
so
battle
this will
right
be
here.
our first place in the mixed division.
Mixed crew,
and first
50s?
koa.
Mixed 50s,
I
believe.
believe they're a mixed 50s crew.
188. That's Kaiola Canoe Club mix in first place.
And a Kaiopua in the canoe, koa canoe.
Yeah, Kaiopua first place.
Nice
koa.
battle. So that actually could have been a top 10 overall finish for that koa. We'd have to count the canoes here a little bit. But
I think we got more than 10 canoes already.
I don't know. It's pretty close.
Maybe it's possible, but man, what a beautiful vibe they have there. But definitely dominated by those unlimited canoes, and you can see they started back in the pack from our spec boats. So they were able to catch up that 5-minute gap and really come in here. I didn't see, Katie, any 9-man crews yet.
We've not seen any 9-man crews as
like
far as
most of
we
our
can
top
tell.
paddlers have opted to go iron, whether that be in a spec boat or in a unlimited.
Yeah, we can tell by our list. So when a crew comes in here at the finish, they've got 6 paddlers in, and so we can't immediately tell whether it's a 9 crew or a 9-person crew. But if we check our lists on the numbers, and we can let you know when we see.
So from here on out, Katie, we'll really
9
start seeing a lot of crews coming in. Our apologies, we're not going to be able to let you know who all of them are.
Oh, we got a bunch of canoes
really
coming in
now. A gang
now.
of crews coming in here. I think this black and red canoe is a little bit off course.
Yeah, they were looking at, but they've I think righted their way now and heading for the official boat, I think. But yes, we've got another unlimited battle here, not knowing whether these crews are in the same unlimited division. They might be an age group or not. So we've got this red and black canoe here. This is 233. And that's Ruahatu from French Polynesia, from Tahiti. Awesome.
This looks like...
And this is Puna, another Puna crew.
Yep,
nice work,
Puna
ladies.
crew and a Tiger canoe. We were watching them earlier. These ladies had a great race. Kaihitu's second crew here coming in.
Yeah, they'll be
Nice
stoked
race.
to see how their first crew came in first overall. That's awesome for that club. Okay, another unlimited canoe.
What a great effort here by all of these ladies. And these are still some pretty good crews coming in here. These ladies are no joke. Here's our second place mixed crew.
Here's our second mixed crew.
Waikoloa Canoe Club coming in there. Yeah, really a lot of unlimited boats here happening. We've seen a lot of this new Matahina canoe, which is a beautiful unlimited boat. Some Puakeas. But yeah, it's been mostly unlimiteds here off of the Kona Coast in today's Queen race. We're just here. That big orange buoy is our finish line. You're looking at a crew. It looks like they borrowed, I'm not sure who that is. They borrowed a Hulakai canoe, but that was a 60s group. This is our third place mixed over here coming in.
And another spec boat crossing.
And a beautiful drone shot. You can see how packed that those tide pools are in that area, and how full these this shoreline is of paddlers, mostly male paddlers getting ready to get back in the boat. What a beautiful, beautiful drone shot of this bay. And that motorboat in the lower part of your screen is us right there. And you can see how all of the canoes are kind of stacking up against the shoreline there, trying to identify where their male counterparts are so that they can switch out and have those men paddle back to Kailua Kona from here at Honau now.
Yeah, look at this
What a cool place to finish a canoe
place.
race,
Yes,
huh?
this national park here is just incredible. The place of refuge. They've reconstructed a lot of the structures here. You come down there, and if you get a chance, come and visit this park because it's just beautiful. Great place to snorkel. Oh, our first juniors crew. Okay, and they are also from the Kalahuikai. So they're yes,
Yep.
first juniors.
I think it was the same juniors crew that just came back from a great performance at the IVF World Distance Races. First place there for the Wahine juniors.
Okay, looks like we're going to have the green and yellow canoe. This is a group from Australia, Townsville Outrigger Canoe Club, Open Women.
Nice. In a spec boat there.
And just behind them,
Nice work, Townsville.
205 is Kihei Hamas.
Kihei Hamas.
Hamas from Kihei, from the island of Maui.
Is that an age group one? The Kihei Hamas?
I just lost them.
Ah, okay.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it was open. Sorry, open women.
Open, all right.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, and then we've got
great shot of the drone of some of our canoes that continue to finish here. Now we're starting to see a lot more of our spec boats.
Yep,
coming
we've just finishing with a Keoho 50s crew. And then we got another limited canoe here. These guys are from Hong Kong, the Victoria Recreation Club, VRC. All the way from Hong Kong. Awesome.
There we have another canoe, 168 coming in here. This looks like another international crew.
Yep, this is a Singapore. This is a 50s plus crew from Singapore. Nice job, ladies.
Yep, you can really
and
see
then
all
we've got
the different
this is a crew.
styles of paddling.
The red and white canoe there is
just trying to hammer it in here.
So that's a New Zealand crew on the far side.
Line.
And also another crew from New Zealand. So we had two New Zealand crews cross right then. And then Outrigger Canoe Club. Just finished.
Here we go. Drone on the finish line. You can see it. These ladies need to kind of start matriculating out of the way and make some space for the incoming canoes, because as you look up the coastline, man, there's a whole gang of canoes trying to make their way into this very tight finish line and very tight finish area. Our finish line is only maybe 100 yards offshore, so as soon as they cross the line, the steerswomen need to navigate their out of the way so that they're not getting in the way of the incoming crews.
That was Kaione that just finished, and now we have 268 is Lokaki Canoe Club from Oahu. And we have Namolokama from the island of Kauai.
Yep, Namolokama from the north shore of Kauai.
And then coming in after them is another Kaiopua crew in the blue and white canoe. And then we've got Singapore, another crew from Singapore. That's a 40-plus crew right there. Oh, and they look really stoked to be here. Here's another second koa.
Second place koa?
Yes.
Or just third?
I think this is the second place koa. I think this is the second one I've seen.
Kainoa Holokai. Beautiful koa coming in.
Oh, this is Hanalei. This group's from Hanalei.
Oh, Hanalei Canoe Club. All right.
On the island of Kauai.
Canoe. Look at that. Nice paddling from those ladies from Hanalei.
So that looks like number
looks like
200.
This gang here opted at the last minute to pull their spray cover.
So
all that was left was the hoops.
This is Heialani Canoe Club finishing
Heialani,
right there.
nice.
40-plus crew.
Oh, Heialani 40s did really
yeah,
well
they
this
did.
year.
And here's Waikiki Surf Club Antis. They're 55-plus in the whiter canoe there.
Uh-huh.
And then
242.
That's Brown Wada Dadas from Keokaha.
The Brown Water Dada.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And then 193.
Oh, we're just shy of 10 a.m. right now.
Another Huinalu crew right there. And then the spec boat. And one
bearing down on the 2.5 hour mark. meaning that most of these crews, a majority of them will be in about 2.5 hours.
So. Okalani Canoe Club, and then here in the purple, 226 is Nakai Iwalu Canoe Club.
Nakai Iwalu, yes.
Yeah.
106.
There's the third koa, too. 106 was a team from Australia, the Tweed Coast Outriggers.
271 was our third or fourth place koa. 271.
271. Third koa was from for right here.
Kiowa, from right here in Honau now.
Yep.
Yep, right here. This is their home turf.
Okay, 228. The brown crew there is.
And 236.
228 is Kona Athletic Club. And 236 was Hawaiian Canoe Club. They're 50-plus girls.
We still have several canoes coming in around the corner. You're going to see more of our mixed 50s and 60s, some of our age group paddlers now coming in.
This is another Hawaiian Canoe Club crew, 50-plus. So we had two in a row there. Probably we're battling each other, sisterly love.
It's like an international crew here. 214. Maybe not.
This is Kailua Canoe Club.
Kailua.
So international, being all the way from Oahu.
Those are some cool jerseys, I tell you that.
297.
297 coming across the line here.
Okay, that's Kaiola Canoe Club.
Kaiola?
Kaiola. Yep, that's a 60s plus ladies. $147 is going to be Imua Canoe Club from California.
Some Cali in the house. What a great finish for all of these paddlers today. We've got our mixed crews, our mixed 50s and 60s. Our mixed 40s is coming later in the afternoon, right, Katie?
Yeah, mixed 40s will go with the same time as the men.
Did we have an approximate start time that you knew of for... Yeah, I bet you it's...
I would guess it's probably going to be around 11 or 11:30.
You know, today is another great day for the women. They get to race early when it's that much cooler. Then we're going to wait to the hottest time of the day. And okay, man, now you can go.
That was Newport Aquatic Center. And
that's Kilohana there.
Also, yeah, Kilohana crossing the finish line.
With their signature Hawaiian flag jerseys.
Oh, yeah, that's the Team Australia Aussie six-pack, 60-plus. Our friend Renona steering that canoe. Good job, Renona.
Oh, here's a nice canoe coming in here. Outriggers Unlimited boat.
Yeah, that's right, Outrigger Canoe Club. That's Open Women's Crew. Is this a 266? Okay, that's another. Like that's the first. Might be the first 9-person crew. That's from Puna.
Oh, Puna 9s. All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Again, we have the double hull races tomorrow, and the one man and V1 races tomorrow here right out of Kailua Kona.
That was another New Zealand crew that just crossed Portage Crossing Canoe Club.
Portage Crossing.
Portage Crossing. And then here is the Boy Dogs. I don't know. These
I
guys
just heard
are
the announcer on shore go, that's the Portuguese Crossing Canoe Club.
That crew that just
Portage,
finished was
Portuguese, all looks the same.
The Boy Dogs.
I think he's Portuguese maybe, huh? Portuguese.
And I think that was a Kauai High crew. And then that looks like...
yeah, we'll have a whole nother gang of crews.
It looks like a Haleiwa crew. Here comes another koa. In front of them is Hui o Mana Ka Pu'uvai. It's a Pu'uvai. And then another koa canoe. Didn't quite catch which crew they were from.
All right, thank you for continuing to watch our coverage of the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoe Race. We are here at the finish line for the first race this morning, the women's and mixed 50s and 60s race. Finishing up here at Honaunau, the city of refuge on the Kona coast of the big island of Hawaii. We continue to see you folks joining us today. We have, who is this here? We have Booney Bell. Mahalo ke akua for a beautiful day in Kona. Couldn't agree with you more. Mahalo ke akua for a beautiful day on the Kona coast. What a just idyllic day of Hawaiian canoe racing here.
Oop, look at all these tight battles here. Crews coming in, pulling in, and now there's lots of canoes sitting around at the finish. Women who are just finishing up and trying to drink a little liquid, and then they got to go find their men's crews and hand off the canoe. And now we've got some of the men getting into the canoes and milling around. So lots going on right here at beautiful Honaunau. Okay, finishing now in the Unlimited, we've got Kukui'ula, Unlimited crew, our open Unlimited crew. And then we've got a crew here from Kihei in the blue and white, battling it out. But you see, they're not giving up here at the finish. So the race within the race, trying to push yourself. Another mixed crew going across there.
We're a half an hour after the top finishers have gone, and everyone is still out in the field, is pressing as hard as they can, yelling and racing and cheering.
Okay, we had Haunani Canoe Club from Canada just finished. And a battle here between Kumulukahi. Oh, this is the Elks.
Yeah,
right there
Elks
in
is
the purple and white.
Elks Club there on
Elks
the
Club.
slopes of Diamond Head.
Some more crews pushing against each other to finish. This is Washington Canoe Club's 50s, the green and white canoe. Nice work, ladies.
Fantastic drone footage we got going here.
Yeah, I see all the canoes and the motorboats here at the finish. Lots of people just spectating, watching from their motorboats, supporting all their local teams.
Lots of people just spectating over here.
Spectating. Well, hey, is this actually a great spectator sport?
No, it really is from this. And you can see, I mean, it's not only the action that's going on here, but what a beautiful place to make it happen. Look at this. Another crew coming in here.
That's another crew from Huinalu. Open women
is that
crew.
9 men? 9 women?
Nope, that was another iron crew.
Another iron crew from Huinalu.
Yep. And I know because there's another Katie in that boat. I can see her. Shout out to Katie.
A couple more crews coming in. We've got a mixed crew there.
That's called Us Buggas from Kihei.
Us Buggas. Good fun.
And battling with them, 220 is Haleiwa Outrigger Canoe Club. We've got big mixes of Unlimited and spec boats all mixed in here.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, a koa. Hoping to see, I think we've only seen 2 or 3 so far.
Continue to have a trail of canoes just coming in here towards the finish line.
216.
And quite a responsibility for that right stroker here. Once you get across this finish line to be able to say.
Kukui'ula 60s. And then right next to them, we've got a Kailua
Canoe Club. I'm
50s
loving the jerseys.
Masters
Look at
right
that.
there.
With
Those are awesome.
Hawaiian flag on one side.
And that was a Waikiki Yacht Club. Their crew is called Hold My Beer. They've got a good jersey, too, because it says Hold My Beer on the back of their jersey. Oh, here's the other koa. And that's from Waikoloa Canoe Club in the koa.
Ugh.
Okay, and then we've got Coronado Outrigger Queens.
Coronado.
Yep.
That's from the Coronado Outrigger Queens. Outrigger Hoi Vana'au.
Yep.
That might
From
be
the
from
United
the
States.
Coronado area in San Diego.
Okay, and we've got Lili'uokalani.
Lili'uokalani Canoe
Yep,
Club. This
from
is
Maui.
From Maui. They were the ones that were always hosting the Olukai Ho'olaulea before, right there in Sharon Baladoy and that gang.
Yep.
Right there in Kanaha in Maui.
Okay, this is Hali'iwa Outrigger's 60s plus Wahines. Nice job, ladies.
Forever 41.
No, it's Forever 21.
I don't know. It says Forever 41 over there.
Oh, that's right above. Yeah. There's another crew called Forever 41.
Another crew from Lanikai coming in there.
Yep, that's their 60 plus ladies as well.
60s. I'm telling you, somebody's 60s ladies are looking really, really fit,
And,
man.
you know, 60s means 60 or older. I think some of
Yeah.
these women are even in their
Guaranteed.
70s.
Guaranteed.
And they are still out here working hard, pushing themselves, and having fun. That's a New Zealand crew crossing right there in the Unlimited with the green ama, white canoe. Go Waikiki Beach Boys.
All right. Thank you for continuing to stay with us. As you know, we're going to be taking a short break in a little while to make sure that we give these crews time to switch out their canoes and switch out with the men for their race back to Honau now. You know, I'm trying to see, do we have an approximate time that's a start for the men?
20 minutes after the last one.
Okay, so it's not a specific time, but it is 20 minutes after the last women's canoe finishes here. So it's going to give us a little bit of time, a good break for some of our top crews. Who's that there?
This is the junior girls from Outrigger Canoe Club. They're a nine-person crew of juniors age 15 to 18, right there in
Nice.
the red and white.
There are still quite a few canoes coming around the point here. I guess this is what happens when you have 200 entries. Quite a busy field.
Busy field. And what's funny is that people get spread out there. You might feel like you're kind of on your own for a while, and then all of a sudden as you come into the finish area, the last, mile to half a mile, everybody starts kind of coming back together, and suddenly there's a lot of canoes around you. So coming into this finish line channel here, we've got a whole fleet of canoes coming in. Here comes another koa. And that is going to be from Huiva Waiakea.
And this is where you're really seeing a lot of these battles within a battle, You'll have mixed crews battling each other, whoever's next to you, It don't matter. Wow, we're really looking at an armada as you look back up the coastline. Just a string of canoes stretching out around the point there, and it is packed right now. This is traffic jam, and now you're watching all of these crews trying to make their way into this little narrow bay and a small opening or that finish line. They've really got to be to navigating, getting out of the way of all these incoming crews. They're coming in 5-6 canoes at a time. So, man, if you were there, you better get out of the way.
And in that pack right there was Kihei Canoe Club in there, or 40 plus in the koa canoe. But it's great to see all these koa boats out here. They're just so beautiful. And just paddling down this coastline in a koa boat just adds that much more meaning to your race, of course. It's just a different feel to it. So I'm glad to see those canoes here. Here we've got mostly spec boats coming in. There is the occasional unlimited canoe in these groups. Another koa boat. I'd like to give acknowledgement to these crews that are in the koas. And so this is going to be Huiva o Waiakea. This is their open women in the koa.
Wow, it is getting congested in here, and a lot of these women are just stopping once they come across the finish line, and there is no real opportunity for that to happen.
Yep.
If they were simply to turn around and look behind them, they know there's a lot of other canoes coming in.
A lot of canoes that need to fill in here and pull in and swap out the women for the men.
Yep.
Give the men their canoes.
Our steerspersons need to have a lot of situational awareness
usually
right
the
now.
men want to bring the canoe to at least where they can stand in the water so they can put in their water systems and get ready for their own race. Tape their gels or whatever they need to have along the side gunnels and make sure everything is set up right for them.
There is quite a bit of prep that goes into preparing for a long distance race.
Here's Kauai in the koa canoe coming across, open women. Wow, that's a beautiful koa. I think it even has a koa ama.
Yeah, look at that. Strip plank koa ama.
Super nice. And I think she can see how congested it is. She's heading way over for that
207.
corner.
Who's this we got coming across here?
The koa?
207.
Is Keakeakehoi 60s.
Keakeakehoi 60s, nice.
And then 270 was another koa. That's going to be another Hononau crew coming in, open koa. Oh, so this white canoe that's about to come across here, that's the Keakeakehoi 55's Crack Up Crew.
Keakeakehoi Crack Up Crew?
Crack Up Crew. 55 plus.
All right, Keakeakehoi, you're doing good. They have a really strong age group program out of the San Island area.
On Oahu, yep.
Recently having the loss of one of their senior members and coaches, Uncle Gilbert. He was the guy that you could you were coming in from anywhere in the world and he could find you a canoe. If you needed a canoe, you called Uncle Gilbert Silva.
So here's a Heilani Canoe Club open women finishing. Right behind them is Pu'uloa Canoe Club. And then there's a Oceanside Outrigger Canoe Club. I'm guessing they might be from California. Oceanside 50 plus. We got the Coronado Outrigger Bees. Open women's. There must be novice bees. And that is Wasabi Paddling Club. Wasabi. I don't know where they're from. It says United States. Spicy.
They're so spicy.
Okay, 239, the Keaukaha Queens open crew in that koa.
Keaukaha Queens. Keaukaha is having a good showing today.
They sure are. And there's the Kahakai Long Beach crew in that unlimited right there, 40 plus crew. And I believe that is that's the Hawaiian Outrigger Canoe Voyaging Society right there crossing, the open women. Those guys actually do long paddles between and around the islands. I think after this they're going to paddle around to Hilo, the Hawaiian Outrigger Canoe Voyaging Society. They do long paddles. They go paddle from the Big Island to Maui. They paddle like from Hilo to here, and then they'll paddle back around the other side of the Big Island, and they swap out people along the way.
Wow.
Do these super long voyages, just kind of checking out the coastlines of mostly Big Island and Maui, I think, Lanai.
I'd bring a sail.
Yeah, and that's led by Uncle Kimokea. I don't know, you have a sail. I haven't seen you using it lately.
Yeah, it's all stored up.
Okay, that's the Lokahi Imiola Junior Girls from Lokahi Canoe Club. They were in a 9-person crew in the white but with the red canvas there. And then that was Cali 5-0s from Dana Outrigger Canoe Club, 40-plus crew.
Howley 5-0.
Yeah, Cali 5-0.
Some of the names, man, they come up with. You can tell they're just here to have a good time.
Okay, that's Outrigger Chicago Canoe Club and the dark red canoe and another koa.
Chicago Canoe Club. That's a long way from home.
Glad
to have you, Chicago.
I'd like to ask them where they practice.
Yeah, right.
There's Middle Li'i Canoe Club. So that's a Kaihitu Canoe Club, a 9-person crew. And then here in the pink, that looks like a juniors crew. 109. That's American Dragon Singapore. Oh, open women. Iron crew. This looks like False Creek Ohana Spirit from Canada. 65 plus.
Oh, yeah, ladies. From Canada, huh?
Yes.
False Creek Ohana Spirit.
That's the name of their crew.
False Creek Racing Club.
So, False
Canada.
Creek.
Nice.
Okay, and this is Outrigger Santa Cruz. Another 60-plus women's crew. Iron. Nice job, ladies. So they are at about 2 hours and 45 minutes time now since the start of the race.
Mm-hmm. This is a really interesting almond design here.
This is the Wasabi Paddling Club. Wasabi.
Wasabi
they're saying they're spicy. Yes, here's their 50 plus spices.
Mix. Yeah, I see men and women there.
Okay, and this is Nahoapili Oke Kai Canoe Club. 50 plus iron women, the blue and white canoe. Here's the Chikasaki Outrigger Canoe Club from Japan. These are the ones from Yokohama. The little Japan flag in the back, the yellow and red canoe there. Iron crew, open women. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 50 plus women. The Lady Esther Canoe Club, and from Canada. Okay, and this
it's a lot of these crews.
This is a crew from Ho'okahi Pu'uvai, and they're called Hama from Behind.
Hama from Behind, huh? I guess so. You can put whatever name you want. Here's another one of those Hawaiian Outrigger Canoe Voyaging Society. Va'a. And really, all of these crews that you see coming in now, a lot of these age group, a lot of this, these paddlers that aren't your top 3, 4, 5 canoes. This is the meat and potatoes of paddling here in Hawaii. These are all your club people. These are the people that are out there having fun with their friends, trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, all of this stuff. And I really think that when you come to a race like Queen Lili'uokalani, this is where your numbers come from. This is where you get the most of your people that come here to Kona to enjoy the race. And we just are so happy to see them come year after year. And they really have, everybody wants to go fast. Everybody wants to win the race. But these people that are out here just enjoying the water, enjoying each other, man, it really makes for good fun times. And this is what paddling is really all about.
Yeah, this is great. All these crews still coming here to look around the corner, and we've still got lots more canoes lining up to get in here. I'm not sure where they're all going to fit. I think this bay is starting to fill up with canoes.
It's like another juniors crew coming in here. 2, 3, 1.
Two, three, one. That was an open women from Hanalei.
Open women Hanalei.
Yep. Then we've got a West Kauai open women 9-person crew. And then we got Nava'a Wahine Oke Kai from Hood River Outrigger Canoe Club.
Hood River,
55 plus. Here we have a Hawaiian
Mixed
Canoe
50s.
Club, 60s plus ladies in the red and white canoe.
That other one looks like a mixed crew.
That does look like a mixed crew.
Can't even see it.
Let's see, 115 here. We have Team Australia's 5 O's, 50 plus women, iron.
Team Australia 5-0.
And we've got Ikuna Koa, open women. I think that
Is anything being shown in between? Are you showing anything? Like from now until then? Are you going to run an episode? What are you going to run?
okay, look at this.
Queen Lili'uokalani Canoes Races.com. Okay. And that's going to be to the drone.
So watching this bay filling up with canoes here, there's just, I don't know where they're all going to fit at this point, but it's incredible to see all these people here, see all these canoes.
I'll go this way.
Around.
Wow, this bay is just full of paddlers, full of spectators on the shore. What a beautiful backdrop to be able to end this race, Katie. So this is the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoes Races. We've had our women's race this morning. Congratulations to Kaihitu Canoe Club from right here on the Big Island of Hawaii for winning in the Unlimited and overall. In first place in the spec boat, and second overall was Team Kalahui Kai, and a great morning of racing, Katie.
Great morning of racing. It was just fantastic to see so many canoes out there. You know, again, record-breaking, over 200 canoes in that race this morning.
Wow.
With the women's crews and some of the mixed crews going down. Fabulous this morning with all these international teams coming in here. Just great conditions too. It really turned out to be pretty nice, fairly smooth for these women paddlers. I think the men will have kind of a similar thing. They're probably hoping the wind will pick up a little bit, give them a little bit of a cool breeze.
Pick up a little in the right direction. Again, we're going to log out here from our coverage of this race, but come back with us. We're going to be logging in again in about an hour, right about 11:30, 11:40, for coverage of the men's race. And that will take us from here at home now back to Kailua Kona, and we're going to enjoy a celebration at the end of that race. But it's going to be very strong performances we're looking for from some of our Kane crews and our mixed crews as well. But again, thank you for joining us for a beautiful morning here and on the Kailua Kona coast of the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm Kala'i Miller. And for myself and Katie Stevens, we look forward to seeing you in about an hour for our coverage of the men's race here at the 50th annual Queen Lili'uokalani Canoe Festivals from the Big Island of Hawaii. Ahui ho. We'll see you shortly.
See you soon.